Hey, everybody, this is Sal. We are the Horror Junkyard. We wanted to take this time to personally give a shout out to a couple of guys, well, five of them to be exact, five guys who were above and beyond awesome. And if you've listened to the show, you have heard we have a new theme song.
That's right.
This was written for us by Frostbite BC, the most kick-ass punk Christmas band on the planet. They are the guys. Vic Frost is the lead. You got Ovatus. You have Santifa 666 on drums, Bob the Elf doing rhythm, and Mandeer on bass, which everybody knows. All the ladies love bass.
They all flock to the Mandeer.
They all run to Mandeer. So I know Chuck has been in contact with the guys. I've talked to Mandeer a few times since then, since we've been on hiatus. But now in this season, it's our season, Halloween. So we're back, and we want to tell them thank you guys so much. So go check them out at frostbitebc.com. Chuck, who is the unsung producer of the year, is going to put links below. So we want to give a shout out to them and let them know that they have not been overlooked, not been forgotten.
Always loved,
and we are back from the grave, and we have something we have to give back to the people.
And that's what we do.
Part of that, yeah, we're givers, people. And part of that is letting you guys know, go check out frostbitebc.com. You can follow them on all the socials, and like I said, Chuck's going to put that in the link below. So check them out, give them some love, shout out to them, and let them know the Horror Junkyard sent you.
You may be in your schoolyard playing when the signal comes. That signal means to stop whatever you are doing and get to the nearest safe place fast. Always remember, the flash of an atomic bomb can come at any time, no matter where you may be.
Wow. So, yeah, it's kind of dusty in here. Haven't used this in a bit. So I guess, I'm putting stuff up on Instagram and kind of just started teasing the idea of, hey, let's go back and do a show. And then here we are, I guess. We had to do those after that, especially those camps they sent us to. I don't know. It was reconditioning camps. They were good.
It works for a while, and it never.
But I'm glad to be back. I guess I'm just glad to be back behind the mic. It was fun.
Things have been that bad, huh? I can't wait to get back and do a show.
Yeah. Never thought I'd ever say that. I just,
a lot's happened.
Oh, tons have happened. Like, there's just so much going on that we are probably just never going to tell you guys about. And that's probably killing you. It's probably killing you. But anyway, everybody, welcome back to the Horror Junkyard. This is our Halloween episode. This is, I guess, our reunion / reboot, I guess.
Yeah.
It's the Halloween show. We literally decided we were going to do a one-off show. And that was going to be it.
Let everybody know you're still alive show.
Yeah, and just, and then it kind of snowballed from there, and we just said, you know what, let's bring the show back all the time. So this will be our relaunch of
reboots are big, right?
The reboots are big right now, so maybe we can get on as some kind of a trending thing. So yeah, we have our new reboot of the Horror Junkyard Apocalypse Halloween show.
2.0.
2.0 or
the redo.
No, technically the first was Horror Junkyard. So this is Horror Junkyard Apocalypse. It's Apocalypse. So it's a totally different product altogether. This is like the new Halloween franchise, except we don't have like a shitty Jamie Lee Curtis.
True to like naming convention, just throw the colon in. Just throw the colon in.
The colon's there. Right. So we have, as always, the unsung producer of the year, the only producer of the year worth a shit. And that is Chucky Mamaluke. Welcome back, Chuck.
Hello, everybody. It's good to be back.
Yeah.
To produce the number one show on the interwebs.
It was absolutely, and you can look this up, this is fact. We outdid every other show ever.
By huge margin.
Huge numbers. If you can't find it, it's obviously you're an idiot. You can't find it.
You weren't looking in the right place.
Just look it up. It's all there in black and white. Or if you're still using your VGA monitor, it's green and black. So
you're watching this on your old Game Boy.
If you have your old Game Boy with the big screen attachment. And I've also suckered. Sorry, I keep using that word. I've convinced someone to come help us out. They are a friend that I've met since I've been out here in Florida. They've asked me not to show their face because they have a very important job with the government. But she did agree to come and watch Halloween movies with us. And it was just going to be, again, for the one-off. And we said, yeah, let's give it a shot. And I said, you know what? You know what would be a great take? Let's get a non-horror person involved in this. And it sounded great. And you agreed with me. So you co-signed it. And
I'm your accomplice in this.
Yes. So now, technically you were the voice of reason. But now I would like to introduce everybody to Lola Saint. She is going to be with us. And she got to witness the glory that is Hack-O-Lantern. Say hello to the audience of the Horror Junkyard Apocalypse Halloween show.
I'll never remember all of that. Hi, y'all.
Wow. Wait.
Hey, wait a second.
Hold on.
Already stealing people's gimmicks.
Florida. Yeah, here's the thing. So it's a little too early to joke like that. Having just lost our cast member.
Well, I am from Florida,
You
so I
are.
guess
Yes.
I could just say hola.
Okay, there you go.
Is that better?
Yeah. So yeah, you guys are probably wondering, we did lose a cast member. It was really hard to take.
You're never prepared for that kind of thing.
You're never prepared. So for someone to be taken by bees, killer bees, I just never saw it coming.
No, you never
So
expect
R.I.P.
that fall.
R.I.P. Cat.
Yeah, who would expect anybody to get killed by bees?
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you hear about it and you see it in movies sometimes, and
I was immediately brought back to my good friend Thomas J, who passed in a similar manner. And I'll be honest, me and Veda, we dated shortly. Miss Salt and Puss and myself, we dated for a brief time, and she always talked about Thomas J fondly, as did I. So I R.I.P. Thomas J. And
what? Bees just take all the important people in our lives.
We're taken too young. We lost a good one that day. Damn you, anaphylaxis.
Damn you.
So this show is going to be dedicated to EpiPens. We want everybody to carry an EpiPen, even if you're not allergic to anything, just in case. You never know.
Yeah. Maybe your friend will be stung to death by bees. You may need it.
Somebody could have saved them. If only Veda had an EpiPen. And that dummy wasn't messing around to hive. Big dope. For a stupid ring. Way to
You
go,
dumb bastard.
you dummy. So, okay, so here we are, folks. So Chuck, Lola, and I decided for Halloween, what better way to celebrate the season than a movie that invokes nothing but good feelings about Halloween. The imagery of Halloween. The jack-o'-lantern that is carved and put out in front. It is all a very rich tapestry of the autumn season, which I have to tell you, living in Florida is awful. Autumn and Halloween in Florida means absolutely nothing.
I was going to say, do you have an autumn season? Isn't it the same sweaty, humid, murky, hot weather it always has?
It feels like the guy who's going to dress up as Sweaty Santa in December is the same guy who is sweating over your pumpkins now. He's
just sweaty Michael Myers walking about.
He's right. He's a sweaty guy in a hockey mask. Or maybe, I guess maybe a Jack Skellington. He'll just wear the head, and he's just sweating all over my pumpkins. That's the same guy who's going to be Santa Claus with sweat stains, with no snow around, trying to get people to buy evergreen trees from his lot from the back of his car. So, I said, what better way to immerse myself in Halloween than to invite everybody over? We'll have some last year's candy corn in one big dish, because it's turned into one big candy corn.
I was going to say, pulls out into one big giant bowling ball of candy corn.
And, and then a hack-o'-lantern. I said, what else is going to make you think Halloween aside from hack-o'-lantern? That's exactly what you thought, wasn't it? When you saw the cover art?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
nothing invokes the spirit of Halloween more
than High Pike on the cover with a character that's not in the movie. It was a big jack-o'-lantern, like with an evil face on it. Like it was killing people.
Yeah.
Right off the bat, this movie just lies.
It literally
and it doesn't stop lying to you.
On a throne of lies.
One lie after another. Not only the cover art, the description of the movie. Okay.
Yeah, let's we're going to start right there. So when we started just looking up the movie, again, we do a lot of behind the scenes work for you, the audience. We want to make sure you guys have you share our experience.
Sure, we toil endlessly behind the scenes.
You really, and again, when we peel back the kimono so you guys can see, it's for everything we do is for you. So when we start doing research on these gems, and these all are gems, the first thing it says, which I would like to say they have changed, by the way, on Shudder, it started out with a kindly old grandpa. That was the first line of the description. Now, so again, having seen, and I ironically, not a month or two ago, Lola had just seen Dolomite for the first time.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Right. And High Pike
is just fresh in your mind.
Right. And High Pike's beautiful face was seared into her brain.
Another Hollywood pretty boy.
Yeah. And she was like, who's that? And I was like, that is High Pike. And she's like, ooh, is he single? I'm like, well, he's dead. And
he's dreamy. He was stung to death by bees.
He was stung to death by wasps in Florida. But yeah, he was in Dolomite, and she just saw him. And then when hack-o'-lantern came, and she had said she had to, where do I know that name from? And then once I said Dolomite, she knew.
Then his mug enters the frame, and then you're like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, he has the face as if a frog shit on a hot plate. His whole head looks melted.
I told you he looked like Vizzini from Princess Bride drowned. They found his body 3 weeks later.
Vizzini.
if the screeching eels had gotten Vicini and ate his face, he would look just like High Pipe. So if you guys are interested, you can watch on Tubi, which I got to say, Tubi is amazing for free content. If you don't want any of their subscription stuff, go check out Tubi. They have so many movies, and they have so many obscure movies. That's the best part. Like, you go to all your subscription stuff, and they're kind of playing some of the same stuff. It kind of there's some overlap. But Tubi has some amazing movies that we are going to have to revisit for future episodes. So that is going to happen.
Just a well of greatness.
A well of greatness. Now, on Google, a young man under the influence of his evil grandfather can only achieve manhood through a Halloween night murder. That is the descriptive of Hack-O-Lantern on Google, if you Google it right now. Released July 30th, 1988. So, would you have ever guessed this was made in the 80s?
Yes. Yes, 100% yes.
So would you put this up there with your favorite 80s movie?
Sure.
Like, what? Okay, so in the 80s, 1988, what were you doing?
Well, I mean, I wasn't watching horror movies.
You weren't watching Hack-O-Lantern.
No, I wasn't. So, I'm not sure. It's like nothing I've ever seen before.
You can't tell us like that. I get it. It's fine.
You're not like like Sal's dad bringing you the horror movies when he was like 6. Didn't your dad bring you like Dawn of the Dead when it came out? Like what?
Yeah, 1978. My dad took us to the drive-in. We saw Dawn of the Dead.
And this explains a lot about him now.
And it wasn't even rated. It was like it was.
Yeah, well, it was rated apparently. Actually, didn't you? You just heard the story, I think.
Yeah.
From the actual source. Again, amazing parenting, and people who have listened to the first show, our first Inception, they remember back when I was a child, 1977. We were went to the drive-in. It was 1978. We went to the drive-in. My parents took my sister and I to the drive-in, and we were in the back seat. First movie was whatever. I couldn't even tell you what the first movie was, but the movie was Dawn. The second movie was Dawn of the Dead, and I woke up at some point from the back seat of the station wagon, and I watched Dawn of the Dead, and was traumatized.
And your dad's like, "No, this is fine. This is okay."
Well, he had no idea because he was watching the fucking movie. He watched the movie and had zero care about what was going on in the backseat. Had no idea. So let's fast forward to now. And I'm discussing this with my mother. And I said, do you remember when we did? And she says, oh, yeah. And I said, so any problems with that? Do you not see the issue with that? And she goes, as if it was my fault. She goes, you were supposed to be sleeping. And that was it. Fuck you, kid. You should have been sleeping.
Totally absolved.
If you're scared, it's your own fault. Yeah. So that's what I got from it, was you should have been sleeping. Not, hey, maybe my parenting should have been better. Hey, I'm going to make you a maniac for the rest of your life. But no, you should have been sleeping.
Maybe the first
So there we
time
go.
somebody's neck was bitten or a piece of flesh was ripped off. Maybe we should pull out of here. Now they're asleep.
Nope.
They're good.
Yeah, we paid.
We
already
paid all
to
this
get
money
in.
to get in. We're staying.
Yeah, we paid $3 to get this car in. I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving until this goddamn movie's done.
Cannibal
So,
Holocaust. You're supposed to be asleep, though. To be honest.
Yeah, to be fair, you're supposed to be sleeping. That's on you. So now, so you mean to tell me you weren't doing this?
Suffice to say no.
You were running around the mean streets of Miami.
Yeah.
Brother.
I know how to say that now because Jason Momoa taught me how to say Miami properly, like a real drug dealer.
It's Miami.
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 Miami. You got to say it like that, otherwise it's not authentic. Jason Momoa said so. So, IMDb, the pinnacle of what you should be watching, they give Hack-O-Lantern a 4.6 out of 10.
Wow.
What? Stop.
4.6 out of 10. Shudder gave it a 2.9 out of 5.
What?
So
I was like, all right, 2.9 out of 10 sounds better.
Yeah, it is squarely in the middle of awful. So they, and again, you're talking about a situation where the director Jag Mundra and the producer Raha Mehrotra. So obviously, 2 All-American boys who came in with a dream of making the All-American horror movie about a jack-o'-lantern that kills. Right? That's where we're going with this.
Yeah, you would think.
But no.
It must have everything to do with jack-o'-lanterns and Halloween.
No, we're gonna start our movie strong.
By the way, is this a Canadian movie?
It is not.
I swear it had that Canada feel.
It had the Canadian smell to it.
Yeah.
It
did. The bacony stench of Canada.
It had that Canadian stink to it.
Because if you would have told me that, I'd be like, oh, you know what? This all makes sense.
Yeah, no. This was
1988.
This was strictly us, man. This was ours.
It's our
So we start off with Grandpa.
Kindly old.
When he shows up with that wig on and the Fred Sanford truck. So he shows up with. Now, okay. Here's the other thing. This was a very James Nguyen thing to do. And they showed a lot of the farm, the orchard. They showed a lot of that. Grandpa took about 12 minutes to get to the house, and he just showed him driving. A lot of driving. And then he pulls up and he has a truckload of pumpkins. It's a very Norman Rockwell picturesque scene of a farm, some sort of an orchard, and this old beat up truck full of pumpkins and hay bales, and out pops this greasy frog of a man with a bad wig on, and this bug-eyed little turd kid comes running out, and they start off the movie. The dialogue is. I don't know how to say it. They try to set it up really, really strong for like Tommy and Grandpa having this really hard relationship together, like love.
Yeah.
And he's like, Grandpa, you made it. And he says, nothing could stop me from seeing you on today, Tommy.
Why did it take you 25 minutes to drive up to the house?
And you're trying. So right there, you've already set up for me. Now, maybe my film degree is reading into this too much. But here's the thing. Obviously, there's some trouble because people are trying to keep Tommy and Grandpa separate from each other.
Yeah,
right? That's I've already picked this up. I've already gleaned this from just Tommy's first stupid line out of his dumb mouth, his big bug-eyed mouth. And so Grandpa gives him the dollar store skeleton. And he tells him that you are so special. You are so wonderful. And there's a lot of weird Grandpa picking up Tommy scenes, which is...
Yeah, and you're like,
yeah.
Where's this going?
Yeah.
This for the real
Grandpa, what'd you bring me? He goes, guess what? I got you a surprise. We're not sure what Grandpa's accent was.
I don't know what he was trying to do.
Hog thing. He definitely has a Duke Boys thing. I can get them good old Duke Boys.
Tommy, you sound a lot taller on the radio.
Jackie Gleason. When I get home, I'm going to punch your mother right in the mouth. Get me a Dr. Pepper.
A Jumbo sandwich. Make it snappy in a goddamn hurry.
So... we start off with Tommy and Grandpa being, they love each other, and Grandpa gives Tommy a rubber skeleton, something that the audience doesn't know, and a pumpkin. And they go through a scene that really didn't need to happen, because honestly, like Grandpa showed up and just was there and then left. Yeah, no circumstance, no real anything.
And his first scene completely kills that kindly old grandfather.
Yeah.
Description.
Yeah. because they could have really played it up, like showing him love and care for his grandson.
And that's the swerve later on.
Yeah. Like, if they would have played this straight, you could have easily gotten sympathy for Grandpa.
Yeah.
That they're trying to keep him away from his grandson, but they love each other. He loves his grandson so much that he's willing to just suffer the slings and arrows of all these people.
I'm
it's
not
like watching an old.
It didn't have anything to do with his acting prowess, though. Because
so you're saying
I feel like they tried, and he perhaps didn't deliver.
Well, to be fair, when he was in Blade Runner as well, at the Snake Pit.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I still have to rewatch that to find him.
Yeah, he's in the Snake Pit, and they don't use any synth snakes. They use only real ones.
Now I feel like he's in the background of every movie. I feel like I should be looking out for him.
He's literally everywhere.
He's just hiding.
If you actually look up High Pike, he's got a body of work. But again, the number one picture of him is that one with when he's doing the devil sign.
Yep.
And he is in every literal fundamental Christian video.
The one thing this movie did was contribute. Was that?
Look at it. Look at that look.
God. Oh my gosh.
I've seen better heads on a mug of beer.
He looks like one of those bad like spirit Halloween masks that you get, the bad latex ones.
He looks like if Lon Chaney got drunk and then did his makeup back in the 30s.
He just fell over on the makeup table, and that's what he came up. That's what he looked like.
Lon Chaney went on a coke bender, fell face first into his makeup kit, and High Pike is what he comes out looking like.
He looks straight out of the freaking Addams Family.
So, let's see. Hack-O-Lantern, Spawn of the Slithis, Lamora, A Child's Tale, The First Nudie, Nightmare in Blood, Dolomite, Blade Runner, which, again, but these are some of the High Pike highlights. High Pike highlight reel.
His highlight reel, and he spelled it with his first name.
And he spelled H-I. How many times do you think he did that? How many times do you think he played that one up?
I would have done it every time if it was me.
You part of my highlight reel.
You can call it my highlight reel. Oh, yes, you got it.
We want you to play the kindly old priest who they go to for help. Gotcha. Why don't you children come in here and I'll help you? Okay, hi. We want you to play the dirty porn director who may or may not dabble in underage porn. Okay. Why don't you come in here and let me help you? He had one setting.
One range. It did a lot with one range.
His range? Yeah. Oh, man. His range was one straight line. About 3 inches long.
Got a lot of use out of that one setting.
Although, I'll tell you what, though. When Lola was writing him a fan letter and I had to explain that he was dead, he died, poor Hyde. We lost a good one in 2006. Lost a good one. So I was explaining to her that he is passed and she could not write him. She seemed a little heartbroken because he has that something. He has that something about him. Yeah, so as far as the rest of the movie, Gregory Scott Cummins, that's Tommy. He goes on to play Luther, which is Mac's dad, I think, from Always Sunny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's actually, his career, out of everybody in this movie, he has done so much TV work for being this trout-mouthed mutant, bug-eyed mutant. He has done so much TV work, and it's like, if the USA channel didn't exist, this guy's career would be gone.
Yeah.
Silk Stockings, NCIS, like everything you could watch on cable is this guy's bread and butter.
Career.
SVU, Law and Order, all 62 of the Law and Orders. He's done them all.
It's a good thing he grew into his face because that was a rough start.
You look at him now, and he looks like an older fella, but back in his prime when the guy was good looking, Jesus.
Back in his large mouth bass phase.
So the rest of the crew, okay, you can go look up everybody on the IMDb on Hack-A-Lantern, and nobody is a real breakout star. If I named anybody in this movie aside from Hyde Pike, nobody would know who they were. Patricia Christie, you guys know her, right? You guys know who she is? Yeah, exactly. It's Beth.
Ooh.
Now we all know Beth. We all love Beth. Beth was the lovable slut who But Beth's other claim to fame not only was Hack-A-Lantern, but Lunch Meat. Now, Lunch Meat, true story. Lunch Meat was a movie that when I was in my VHS days, I had to have Lunch Meat. It was so hard to get. It's about, basically, it's like these high schoolers get eaten by redneck cannibals, and then they sell what they don't eat to a diner. So it's Blood Diner.
It's Blood Diner.
Without the nuance.
Without
Yeah, it's Blood Diner without the class.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, so if I find Lunch Meat, will you come back and watch that with us?
Perhaps.
So, again, now, we haven't progressed any in this story, but Tommy and Grandpa have a
relationship. Neither has a story, though, to be honest.
So one of the things we get back into, Mom is watching from the window like a weirdo, and they jump forward. They fast forward now 15 years.
Yeah.
Actually, no. They cut to the jack-o'-lantern scene, the carving scene.
Yeah. They got their one jack-o'-lantern scene in to.
Yeah. Well, again, Tommy shows up with a jack-o'-lantern. Mom is hanging, because I guess it's 1946. Mom is hanging laundry out on a line.
Listen here. Maybe that's what I was doing in the 80s. All right.
You were doing laundry with Lady Gaga's mom? Because that's who she looks like. And we have the kids. We're introduced to young Roger and young Vera, or Nora, whatever the fuck her name was. This Vera, nobody cared about. So again, like we see the irony, because they showed Roger, who later we'll find out becomes a cop. They show young Roger with a gun, and he says, "I'm going to shoot you," and you're fun. All our kids are whiny assholes.
The whole family just sucks.
The whole family,
top
is just
to bottom,
terrible. And Tommy is carving a pumpkin with a giant knife, and Mom just casually looks over and goes, "Tommy, I told you to let your father handle that. How about you go stop your kid from jamming things with a knife?" But she doesn't do that, and then eventually, ow! We turn, and there's Tommy's hand covered in fake blood. And so we go through this whole thing, and Tommy tells us how he likes the taste of blood, which any child would.
Sure, that's not it's not an early warning sign
Mom
at all.
Is completely shocked when she says, where did you get this pumpkin? Was your grandfather here? Now you're asking the question, where do you think this kid got a pumpkin from? What, he drove into town? He drove the 62 miles down your driveway to town? So now she picks this pumpkin up, which is a pretty big pumpkin. She picks up this 30-pound pumpkin over her head and smashes it on the ground. And before it hits the ground, it amazingly shrinks to like a $2 pumpkin and smashes on the ground.
An uncarved pumpkin hits the ground.
An uncarved six-ounce pumpkin. So then we cut to Dauber.
Are we just going to skip over the fact that he was going to town on the blood on his fingers?
Oh, well, he says, "I like the taste of blood, Mom." And she's like, "No, now," and I don't know why they hammered this home when she said her line. She goes, "Tommy, we're going to have to clean this." Like his mouth was making it dirtier.
Yeah, right.
his gigantic fish mouth was making it worse. Yeah, and then so we go back to her telling Bill, her husband, and Bill's enraged. So enraged that he pulls out like a Schlitz shorty and can only drink half of it before he has to run out and go tell Grandpa where he gets off, because he doesn't like the hold he has on Tommy. And we're like, again, Tommy just said, Grandpa, you made it. I didn't think you were going to make it.
You're special, so Tommy. And he gives him a pumpkin.
You're special, Tommy. Tommy, you're special.
He showed up. He gave him a dollar store skeleton, a pumpkin, and then left.
Well, he turns out he gave him that necklace. He gave him the pentagram necklace. So Dad and Mom are discussing it, and Dad's laying it down for us with a lot of exposition. He has a hold over Tommy, and why doesn't he pay attention to the other kids? That's what it came down to. Why doesn't he want to sacrifice these other kids?
Why would he wander around the other kids?
Super soldiers. So yeah, that's what everybody was pissed about, that he had a connection with Tommy.
Yeah. He's only trying to corrupt the one kid.
Yeah. So why doesn't he talk to the other kids? And you're like, oh, for Christ's sakes. So Dad gets his coat on and he goes out with the intent he's gonna bust some heads. This is your wife's father. This is your kid's granddad. You're gonna go bust this guy's head because he likes your son. Okay. Because he loves Tommy. All right. Makes sense.
Fair enough response.
So he gets in his gigantic car, his big Malibu. Now, he drives to the barn, which I'm not really sure of the spatial relation to the rest of the orchard.
Yeah. Was it on the property? That was what it was supposed to be?
Well, you would think so. So he goes to the barn, big no trespassing sign, which you would think would be enough to deter criminals. And Bill sneaks in through the 12-foot hole in the side of the barn, goes inside, and he sees them doing an eyes wide shut dance in satanic robes. And Grandpa confronts Bill, and Bill gives him you stay away from the kid or I'm going to break your skull. And then somebody with a hammer hits Bill and kills Bill. Bill has he has an eggshell baby syndrome with what do you call it? Soft baby skull. So Bill has soft baby skull and is killed with one hammer blow.
Old Chihuahua head. Get that one soft spot.
So Grandpa then says to Bill that Tommy was meant for greater things and Tommy was never his. So now you're like, what? Aru?
Well, they really drive home Tommy's importance to this whole
right.
Scheme,
Tommy's very
whole
important.
satanic scheme.
Tommy is select. Yes, he is the chosen one. He is like the Neo of hell. So they decide to put a ring of fire around Dad's car and burn Dad's car with his dead body in it, right?
On the property. They don't move it.
On the property, because we cut to Tommy's bedroom and he watches the burning. So how far could they possibly be from the house? That Dad had to drive over there, and Tommy could still watch from the bedroom.
And so it took Grandpa 25 minutes to drive up there.
Right.
He's driving
Dad
circles
had
on the
to
property.
put his coat on and get in his car to drive over to the barn just to make sure.
It's too chilly to walk over there. You don't want to catch a cold or anything.
Possibly walk across that field past the cemetery. Huh? Yeah, we'll get to that later. Family cemetery. So we now fast forward 15 years later. And everybody has grown up into horrible, horrible people. The only one that looks remotely respectable is Reb Brown's younger brother, Roger. That's exactly who he looks. He looks like a talented Reb Brown. Vera looks like any 80s topless fodder, because the first scene we see her in, she's topless in a bathtub with Beth. Mom still looks haggard, but now she's crying. She's crying a lot.
And get ready for that the whole movie.
Yeah. Mom does nothing but weep the entire movie.
It's just a.
And I think that was at that point we'd every time we saw her, every time the camera cut to her, she was crying.
Yeah.
Weeping about something.
Weeping, lamenting. She's doing yard work on that one patch, that 1 square foot patch of land.
Yeah. Which we get back into later. We come to find out, and spoiler alert, guys, we come to find out that her husband left her that land. And she has no one else to work it. So it's just her.
This orchard.
She is working an entire orchard by herself and still has time to walk around the place, cry, and do minor yard work. And hang up laundry again, because she does do that again. Tommy is now living in the basement of Mom's house. Roger is a cop without a cop car. And Vera is a sister who is dating some sort of a Ross ripoff, like an early David Schwimmer-esque type guy. Just everybody's unlikable. There's not a likable character yet introduced.
This has not been a kind 15 years for any of these people.
You would think the fact that her husband was murdered on Halloween, there was no investigation, I guess, into anything. They just
let it go. I wonder if the car
it up. I don't know. We never really get to find out about Bill Drindle. By the way, yes, Drindle.
Drindle.
It really sounds like the fakest name ever.
It sounds so depressing too. Like it fits.
It sounds like 2 Punjabi guys made up a name.
This is the most American sounding name.
You know what, man? We need to send American Bill Drindle. Yes, I like it. Let's go with it. Run.
It just sounds sad. No wonder she was always depressed.
So they do spend they spend the beginning of the movie doing character setup.
And by the way, the last time you're ever going to see any fucking jack-o'-lantern reference, really, in this thing.
It's true.
Because I told you I'd always wondered if Hack-O'-Lantern was like a studio name.
Like they forced it on?
Like they forced it on them. Like it wasn't called that initially. But it's like, we got to tie it into Halloween somehow.
Yeah, I didn't see it when I kind of looked it up when I was trying to find out more information.
Or the reverse, they called it Hack-O'-Lantern, and they're like, wait a minute, we have nothing about pumpkins.
We have nothing to do with it.
There's not a pumpkin in this movie. All right, we're going to shoot this quick scene at the beginning where Grandpa gives Tommy a pumpkin, and that'll tie it all together.
So again, when we fast forward and we start building up now all the characters, we start kind of finding out what their role is in this movie. Everything is held together by masking tape. It's just everybody's connection is so thin.
Glue, string, just whatever they can tie together.
Well, see, glue might have worked a little better, but this is legit paper tape holding everything together. We meet Beth. Now Beth is Vera's friend. So now I asked Lola, and I'll ask you, Chuck. Chuck, we've been friends for a long time, right?
Yeah.
Right. How many times have you walked in on me in a bubble bath or seen me naked?
There was that one time.
We don't talk about that.
Okay. So, and Lola, let me ask you. So your best friend from 1988, when was the last time you saw her naked in a bathtub?
Maybe 1989.
Okay. And we thought, and did you feel you guys were close enough friends where you could play some sort of a prank on her while she was in the tub?
Yeah, no.
So
you never knew about anybody like that. Yeah, this whole scene, I never knew this happening to anybody.
Right.
Ever.
And this is one of those things that you look back now and people will say, well, men really think women. You know why? Because of movies like this.
Yeah.
We think as boys in 1988, this is what girls do. Girls hang out with each other, fucking topless, and
have this
goof
hot
on each other.
relationship. It's great.
Right. This is what they do. So it would be fine if I do it. So now you fast forward, and you're in with your girlfriend, and you throw a rubber snake in the jacuzzi with her, and she goes bananas, and you're like, what? It's funny.
I don't think I ever even.
That's funny. Hack-a-lantern.
I don't think I ever heard you even taking a bubble bath. I've never heard you mention that ever. Let alone one anybody could walk in on it with a rubber spider.
Especially I usually do it right when I tell you guys to come over. I'm like, hey guys, you guys come on over. I'm just gonna take a bath real quick.
We just draw this long bath filled with bubbles.
And I'm gonna hum some unlicensable song while
hey guys, just come in the bathroom, hang out a bit.
Yeah. So now we're gonna do some 1930s shtick where I replace your loofah with a giant hairy spider because they feel exactly the same. Yeah. So, and that was at that point, But again, this is where I'm at with this is what is portrayed to young boys as this is how girls act. So when we act like morons, which we inevitably do, you have to wonder why. Why do you what would possibly possess you to do this? Hack-a-lantern?
Hack-a-lantern. It's my excuse for everything now.
It has to.
No matter what it is. Sorry, just Hack-a-lantern. Hack-a-lantern influence just runs deep.
I'm sorry, Mr. Benoit. Why are you possibly? What is your excuse for this? Hack-a-lantern, Your Honor.
Your Honor, I just want to have the Hack-a-lantern defense, if I can.
All right, fair enough. Case dismissed.
The high pike defense.
High pike defense. Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Your Honor.
Hack-a-lantern made me do it.
I just have one word to say. Hack-a-lantern.
Your Honor, have you ever drawn a bubble bath? Called your friends in.
Your Honor, it's in the blood. Oh, fair enough.
It's in the bath.
Case dismissed. So we come to find out. So girlfriends decide that they're going to goof around and see each other topless. And so if you're that good of friends, the reason I brought this up, the reason I explain this in such detail is because you'd figure people like that know each other. They're really good friends.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
like sisters.
When she initially walked up, the mother acted like she didn't know.
The mother acted like she goes, "Oh, you must be Beth."
Yeah.
And she hit her with that one. She goes, "Hi, Mrs. Drindle." The name sounds horrible. And whenever anybody says Drindle, they're like, "Ugh." Hi, Mrs. Drindle. Oh, you must be Beth. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So at that point now, we figure, but Beth and Vera have to know each other.
Yeah.
Maybe from high school or something, that they're such good friends. And it doesn't seem like a big town, right? Everybody knows each other because they know that girl has a tattoo on her butt.
Right.
So they know of each other's business.
There's a good 30 people in this town, I think.
Yet Beth had no idea that Vera had a brother who was a cop. She knows about Tommy and what a piece of shit he was. But she doesn't know that she has a semi-attractive blonde brother who's a cop.
Oh, Tommy's over with everybody. Everybody knows Tommy.
Everybody hates Tommy. Everybody
Tommy.
knows Tommy's a weird piece of shit.
I mean, fair enough.
What does she have that I don't have? A tattoo on her butt. Well, she must be weird. She hangs out with Tommy Drindle.
It sounds like a slur. It sounds like an insult. You're a Drindle. Stop being a Drindle. It
reminds me of the bit on Adult Swim with John C. Reilly when he plays the doctor. Check it out.
Yeah.
Right, and he says shit wrong, and he's like, "You hunks go on a boat. I want to float on a boat." He says things like that. He goes, "Oh, Dr. Bindle Drindle." It sounds like a fucking fake name that he would say. So when this happens in a movie, and you're just like, "What?" It just doesn't sound right. It doesn't come off the tongue well. So, we come to find out Tommy is a loner and some kind of recluse in Mom's basement. Vera and Roger love Mom, but they know she's a little wonky, and Mom just cries.
Mom just cries, and she's desperate to keep the family together.
She wants to keep the family together. They all live in the same freaking house. They're all adults and they all live in the same house, but she wants to keep the family together.
She's worried about Tommy.
Yeah, she won't leave that dude alone, and he's not doing anything.
Yeah, in all fairness, he's not doing anything.
He's literally not doing anything.
For Satan's chosen one, he's really dropped the ball the last 15 years.
Now, you said you dated a guy like Tommy in high school?
I did, yeah.
Did he have that one barbell with the 20-pound weight on either end?
When he used to get hyped up, did he tie a Rambo headband on and then do pull-ups in his 4-foot basement?
Not a muscle to be found in that kid.
The guy looked like a Heath bar. He had no tone on him.
Man, this inflatable weight workout's just not been doing anything the last 15 years.
Figure, guy sweats in a basement all day and does nothing but work out like he's in prison.
Yeah.
He wouldn't have dad bod when he was 20. He wouldn't have Max dad's bod when he was 20 years old. So we go on and we go through some more of the movie. There's a lot of cutbacks to Grandpa talking about how special Tommy is. They have in between rituals, they have about a dozen rituals. They're constantly in that barn fucking off doing something.
Yeah.
Like constantly. And you'd figure, you want to do a ritual, you make it special. Okay, this ritual has to be done. But they do like 3 rituals in between those rituals.
Yeah.
So you're like, okay.
I've got too many events.
We come to meet the local teens, the kids from the town. One of which is Vera's, the Utes. One of which is Vera's boyfriend, Brian. Oh, fuck. Wearing that blue windbreaker. I want to fucking beat him with it.
There's a lot of that reaction in this movie where people are characters show up like, ugh, what is this?
Yeah, and we see the blonde girl for the first time in the liquor store.
Ugliest fucking town I've ever seen.
Yeah, Tommy's girlfriend, Gianna Fine. Okay, now Gianna Fine was in Penthouse, and she did a lot of porn, and that's why she was hired for this. Because those guys, the director, they were like, yeah, we need TNA. It's a horror movie. Yeah, I think that was their straight up goal, and that's evident through this. This is by no means is there any plot development of any sort,
at all.
At all.
No, there's no characterization. There's no nothing.
Grandpa shows up to the farm again to talk to Tommy, and he tells him how tonight is the night. And he gives him a black thing all rolled up. So maybe it's a cloak, maybe it's a mask. Who knows? Hands it to him, and he's like, "Tonight's the night, Tommy." And Tommy's like, "I know, Grandpa." Like, he's got this kiddish dumb about him, and he's supposed to be like this monstrous killer.
He's supposed to be this hard ass Satan.
For this. Yes, Tommy's being groomed for this his entire fucking life, and his grandfather's like, "Best not dawdle, Tommy." And you're like, why? You're not doing anything until tonight.
He's dawdled for 15 years.
Literally. Let's base today on every other day of Tommy Dringle's fucking life. You have nothing to do until 8, 9 o'clock tonight. And let's say it's witching hour. 3 a.m, tops, before you start this damn thing. Tommy can do a whole truckload of nothing before then. But Grandpa's like, "Don't dawdle, Tommy. Come on out here and stand by me."
Tommy, I feel like you've been kind of wasting some time here.
Yeah. "I feel like I'm chewing up the seed, Tommy." And he says to him, he's like, "Tonight's the night." And he's like, "I know, Grandpa. Like, you've been bugging me for fucking 15 years about
All right, I got it. I know.
Got it, Grandpa."
Like he's asking him to take the garbage out.
Well, Tommy doesn't do that. That's way too much for him.
He couldn't pick up the bag anyway.
He couldn't put that in there's no room in his day for that. So we come to find out that the local establishment of, is it a high school or a church or a VFW maybe? Grand Poobah Hall, Water Buffalo.
I don't know what this was.
They're having a Halloween party. And for some reason, again, everybody's going to this, and it's going to be wonderful. Roger.
Can I just say, I thought they were still in high school.
They mentioned that they graduated.
Until the party came.
Right.
Then I got real confused.
Well, okay, yeah. So there's the scene when we're at let's fast forward to the Halloween party, and the stripper comes out.
Yeah.
Right. Zero reason, zero talent, but the stripper comes out, and the look on her face, she made this like, wait a minute. Why is there a stripper at a high school Halloween party?
Well, this is a very confusing Halloween party in general.
The comedian too, right?
Oh, fuck's sakes. I tried looking up that piece of shit.
That had to be, and I said, like, that dude, he had to have seen his act somewhere, right? The director had to have seen that guy at a thing, and it's like, dude, we got to get him in the movie, man. He's fucking hilarious.
You know what? My interpretation is slightly different. My interpretation was they were in that town filming, and then you cut to Middletown, America. Main Street. I'm so sorry I bumped into your car. I'm so sorry I banged your bumper. Hey man, I hear you're doing a movie. I got a bit I can do. Okay, you don't sue. You don't sue? No, man. You just put me in your movie. Let me do my bit. Okay, you're in. That's how that happened. I don't see it happening any other way.
I want to do my opener.
Yeah, let me do my opener in your
movie. We don't have to call the insurance company. I just want to do a solid 5 minutes in your horror film. What?
I have a bit about a turkey. Oh, okay.
Dude, it kills, man. Everybody I do this with.
Man, this is going to kill. Let me tell you something. I have a bit about porn that you guys are going to love. Oh, porn, you say?
Oh.
Okay. You haven't seen me. Tell me more about it. Mr. Mundra, I promise you, my bit will kill.
They just stopped this movie for this guy's act. They just stop it dead. Like, they just ran out of steam.
It really, honestly. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. It completely stops the fucking movie.
Yeah, it really had no place.
See, now you're a fan of comedies, right? You like comedies?
Yeah.
Would you consider that comedy?
No.
Not in any universe.
So now we haven't even gotten, aside from Bill taking the hammer to the head, we haven't gotten anything going on as far as deaths yet.
Satan's his
however,
dragon.
Janine, right? When she takes the garden weasel to the side of the neck.
But the lead up to that was.
Yeah, she's in the pool alone in her shirt.
Yeah.
And it's like, I only wish that I had audio of their direction. I wish I heard Jag Mundra telling her exactly how she had to act as she strolled out of the pool in her see-through shirt, which
and
I wear it.
And her swimming nightie? What the hell was that?
Yeah, her swimming nightie. Do girls have swimming nighties? Is that a thing? Like, you guys have like your Victoria's Secret that can get wet?
Absolutely.
Okay. See, so again.
But she wasn't wearing her. She was just wearing
just
a
the top
T-shirt. Yeah.
But now, again, this is what I want to know. Like, we are, as men, as people watching this, you're given this false expectation of what women do when they're alone. They get out of the pool and she stares longingly at nothing.
Just naked.
And then she gets naked for zero reason. And she goes into what looks like a cabana, like a rental cabana.
Yeah. Wasn't there I swear it
says, yeah, there's a sign on one of the doors that says, "Please change your wet outfit."
Yeah.
So it's like they're in a hotel or
I was like, are they in a
something.
B&B? What the hell is this? She's just in a random person's
dress. Something. It said, "Please change your wet dress or wet clothes," or something.
There was like that employees,
again,
please wash hands sign up there or whatever.
because she this is why she had to change her shirt. Please change your clothes. So we see the devil mask and the suit, the person in the suit and the cape come in, and we assume it's Tommy. And she takes the garden weasel to the side of the head and neck, and she's killed. Okay. However, it's not making any sense for it to be Tommy, because for all intents and purposes, according to the locals, according to Grandpa, this chick is a witch, and she's in on all this.
Yeah.
She knows it's Tommy's big night. Tommy's cool with it, like she's putting him over.
Yeah, she's supporting it.
Supporting
his hobbies.
And Grandpa is all like, you take this little dummy home, like that sort of shit. And he yells at her. He goes, "You better get his ass home." It's like, okay, so it doesn't make sense for Tommy to kill her. So you're like, okay, well, this again. Now you're just thinking the movie's disjointed.
And she takes him home too. She was responsible.
Yeah,
she brought him home.
She drove him right home. She wasn't gonna fuck around with Grandpa. She knows Grandpa's the high priest. So
the head muckety mucks.
We have our first death, and we go to again back to Brian and the Halloween party, and Grandpa's just a super nice guy. Shows up with pumpkins for the Halloween party, and he tells his granddaughter, he says, "I'm just here to give you pumpkins for your party."
They never get off though.
They never off. Right, it's the same pumpkins.
Yeah. The same ones from 15 years earlier.
They're all rotted
from
in the
the
back.
night Bill Drindle died.
These are my commemorative Bill Drindle pumpkins.
I poured the soul of Bill Drindle into each pumpkin.
It's like Kiss.
Kiss and blood and comic.
Bill Drindle blood.
A drop of Bill Drindle sits in every pumpkin I sell. So then, I skipped over a part that I really thought was hysterical. When Grandpa comes back to talk to Tommy and tells Tommy again, tonight's the big night. Mom's watching from the window again, putting on her running ninja babushka. Because at that point, Grandpa takes off up the road, and Mom is about 7 miles down in the fucking middle of the road, and she stops Grandpa because she's in heels.
Yeah.
And she's just like, "You need to stay away from Tommy." And then we come to find out that at some point on her wedding night, Grandpa was inappropriate.
Tried to make
I
some
don't want to
moves.
get banned from YouTube immediately. But now there's no more, we're not alluding to anymore, but Grandpa pulled down her shoulder on her dress and we saw her boob. So immediately that leads me to believe that she was pregnant with Grandpa's baby. Because we all know that's how you get pregnant. If you pull off a girl's top off of her shoulder and a boob is exposed, it's a baby.
You pull the babushka
If you do it on
off.
the right side, it's a baby girl. So now we come to find out Grandpa, again, they do the worst camera shots of him. The angles just make his face look froggier and worse each time. He really just looks terrible. It's rude. Don't speak ill of the dead. That's terrible.
High Pipe is rolling over in his grave right now if his head wasn't so bloated.
You would dig up Hyde Pike right now and he will look exactly the same.
Probably.
There's nothing his changed. Worms won't even touch him.
Like he's Lenin. He's just preserved forever. Untouched by time. He looks pickled
like
already.
The worms crawl over to his face and they're like, ah!
They can't even look at him.
They all do the Mo Howard when they look at him. So we again, now we get to this Grandpa shows up and is kind of creepy with Vera. And he's like, "You've grown up so much." And you're like, "Oh God, Jesus, Grandpa, you're killing me."
It's creepy with everybody.
Now, meanwhile, Grandpa's doing rituals with like what accounts to 1988 hot blonde broads. You know, he's got all these other chicks in this cult.
Yeah.
But he keeps hitting on his daughter and his fucking granddaughter, and you're like, dude, what the fuck?
It seems to be doing okay with this whole thing. Like, I don't know why he needs Tommy. I don't know why he needs any of these other people.
Yeah, he
Like,
can do it. Like,
he's got it on lock. It looks like
he's got this satanic angle locked down in this neighborhood. So we're introduced to Brian again, and just more again tape. It's all held together with tape because Brian is a douche character. Like, he's just, he reminds me. Oh my God, I figured it out. I fucking figured out. He reminds me of the dude from Miami Connection.
Oh,
the tall goon.
Yes,
The tall David Schwimmer goon from Miami Connection. That's who he reminds me of. So, oh God, it's all coming in now. So, Brian and Vera are now going to go out and they're going to have sex because Vera has deemed it so to Beth. And actually, here's the other thing. Let me ask both of you guys. You guys are adults and you've obviously had sex with people. Well, I'm just saying the internet, I find out a lot. So let me ask you a question. At any point, did you tell your significant other friend who's possibly seen you naked or you've seen them naked, did you say, while everybody's putting up decorations, I think we're going to do it?
I think tonight's the night.
Did you ever plan out to shirk responsibility and go bone your brains out? Did any of you ever do it like that? Because I don't see any other way to make it less special than to be a piece of shit and fuck everybody else who's doing your work.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Got to take off. Sex and all.
We were supposed to be collecting for St. Jude's, but I'm going to sneak off and I'm going to go bone Brian's brains out while you guys are collecting money for the Children's Hospital.
I mean, it's part for the course when they actually go and do it. So,
so that's the other thing. So she says, meet me in the car in 15 minutes. You need 15 minutes to get it to leave? Your car is literally, we're looking at the car. We can leave together right now. But no, they get into the car and then go back. Yeah, they go back to her house, which, Mom doesn't do anything.
Yeah,
Mom
sits
sits around and cries all day, weeping like La Llorona. She's wandering the orchard, weeping for her children. Did I say it right?
No.
Are you mad because I didn't say La Llorona?
Rona.
La Llorona.
Llorona.
Llorona. So again, they go back to their house. Tommy, who finally comes up from the basement we don't know why. He might have been looking for snacks or something.
By the way, Tommy's done nothing.
Tommy hasn't done
anything at this point. He has not contributed to this whole Satan thing one iota.
But now he's come up. He did have a video dream.
Oh, that's right.
That was the best part.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man, I forgot about
Lola
that.
made me rewind that like 6 times to watch it. She wanted to watch that video, and she was
just wanted that burn into your retinas.
Eventually, I had to just shut the TV off and tell her to leave because she wouldn't leave the house. I'm like, you got to go. Movie's over. Stop. We're not watching it again.
Beat me in the car in 15 minutes.
So let me ask you. Okay, as a non-horror person, a scene in a movie like that, aside from like Grease 2, what else is cringy as that video?
What else is as cringy in that movie?
Well,
there are a few other shining moments. In
somehow they just continually raise the bar, and you're like, how could they get even better at this? They're just better at the cringe.
Okay, so I want you to start keeping a tally, because at the end I'm going to have you give me your favorite moments in this movie, as well as the cringiest.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have our video, which I can't. I don't even understand. It makes zero sense. And watch, I just imagine being Cummins' kid, and I said this when we were watching this. Imagine this is your dad, and you know he's an actor and shit, but this movie in particular, where he's just fake air guitaring, oh, awful.
Just
So
the old guy in the metal band.
God. So
there's nothing cool about anything in this movie.
He's done nothing. Roger came down to talk to him, and he showed him the altar, the satanic altar. And
but he's like a jobber in his own dream.
Yes, he got killed in his own dream. Who fantasizes about them being killed themselves? I'm this cool rocker, and this chick for some reason kills me because I'm lame. Although I got to tell you, I did pop for the nostalgia of him putting in his waterproof cassette so he could sweat all over his cassette tape.
He's working up a sweat with that 10-pound barbell.
With his Get in Shape Girl stuff.
Oh, dude, what if they could have had a cool reference. They could have put that the Heavy Metal Zombie tape in.
Oh man,
I would have popped.
That's another movie we watched, Heavy Metal Zombies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you missed that one. That was. I can always find them and we'll.
Oh yeah, we can always rewatch it. It's always a gem. It's a classic.
We could always revisit.
So, I was thinking, Chuck. I was reading in the papers, and I decided to look up a couple things that have to do with the movie because it was getting me. I had some stuff running through my head, and I was figuring guys like Grandpa in Hack-A-Lantern. Do guys like that exist? Kindly old grandpas. Now, I would also like to point out that they did change the synopsis of the film on Shudder. They changed it to a satanic cult.
Okay.
It no longer says a kindly grandpa.
Not misleading right away.
No longer start off. Right. So I decided to look up on a few of the polls online. And again, my sources being things like YouGov, Gallup poll, even USA Today actually had one. It was about Americans. 19% believe they've seen ghosts.
Okay.
So I came across this. I thought this was pretty good. So the latest YouGov research found that over half of all Americans believe in possessions by evil spirits.
What?
Okay. Now, regardless of the religious identity, the only ones, 50% of all religious groups, except the Jewish religion, because they theologically reject the idea of a sentient Satan. So yeah, but now born-again Christians were the most likely to believe in possession, with 72% saying that the devil could take you over. So it's born-again Christians. Yeah, 72%. 45% of Americans rarely believe in possession. They say it can happen, but it happens rarely.
All right.
When I saw 45%, I'm like, okay, so 45% believe they don't know. No, they believe it can happen. It just happens very, very
it's like Satan's running on Haley's Comet. It only comes around every once in a while.
Right. 29 say occasionally, and then 9% say frequently, and only 6% said it happens quite often. And 57% of Americans, every single day, right now, according to Sally Struthers, every 4 seconds. 57% of Americans believe in the devil, and only marginally more than 51% who believe in possession, but believe the devil is higher. Belief in the devil is higher amongst older Americans than younger. 62% of people aged 45 to 64. That's our age bracket, sir. They believe in the devil. So, again, I was thinking, I wasn't really sure with Halloween coming up, and is that the doorbell?
I thought I heard something.
Yeah, you want to go get that? Grab that?
Yeah, hold on. Let me be right back.
Podcast. Very unprofessional. We're trying to do a podcast, and doorbell keeps ringing. I get it. It's Halloween. I get it. But there's a big sign that says Candy's next door. I just a bowl of theirs. I don't understand it. Well, oh my gosh! Look, would you live and breathe?
Oh
Would you
my
look who it is?
God!
Look at the man with no sleeves. And let me guess, you're going as a Jack dude for Halloween. It is Stevie Richards.
Well,
What are you doing?
Thank you for the very unplanned or inorganic. So I can't get over the fact that you're hiding in the closet with Michael Myers, apparently, according to the lighting that you have. And of course, you give all these anti-Christian and anti-God stats.
These are poll numbers. No anti-anything.
First of all, were you sitting in my bushes listening outside my window? Is that what you were doing? You were just First of all, why are you in my neighborhood? Why are you even here? Number two, this is audio, sir. Nobody knows my light. Okay, so let's just pump the brakes now.
I got a theater of the mind just crashing everywhere.
So this unplanned entrance that we spent 20 minutes getting me into this call. What are we talking
I don't
about?
understand. This is horrible. Look at you, sir. You have absolutely. You're just destroying these people's lives. We're trying to build.
We are trying to build magic and whimsy.
That's all you need to do. What are you reading all these poll numbers for? What are we talking about?
Well, we're discussing. Hack-A-Lantern, a movie which I'm sure you're very familiar with. It's the movie we're discussing for our Halloween show.
Did they have a Gallup poll? What's the percentage of people that have seen Hack-A-Lantern?
That would be great. I have to look that up. Well, I don't know. I can look up those numbers now, but
is Hack-A-Lantern an older movie? Because I may have heard of that when I managed a video store back in '95.
Well, this is a movie from '88. This came on the tail end of the Satanic Panic, and it was actually it's so bad because it was done by a foreign film director, and he came over here with pie-eyed dreams. All this guy wanted to do was make this.
Just wanted to make
amazing horror movie, right? So he got penthouse pets. He threw money at all this stuff, and the movie is just so amazingly cheap. So that's the reason I started looking up. I kind of wanted to see. I was looking into the original thought was how many people believe in cults in the United States, and I found these numbers instead. So there's nothing I'm not anti anything. I'm just reading numbers.
It's just data.
I don't. First of all, just data, sir. There's no. I gave no one way or another of an opinion. I just gave data numbers. Just because your feelings are hurt doesn't mean it's not fact, sir.
Not because you're into numbers. You're admitting to this.
Wait, say it again?
You're admitting to being in the Illuminati because you're talking about how into numbers you are.
I'm reading the numbers that are from major news sources.
These are our official sources.
U.gov.com. What's it? Is that what it is? UW. They have Forbes. I'm serious. Even if you just Google it, just go for a regular straight up Google, like how many people believe in ghosts. Every major news source has done a poll on it. It's ridiculous.
Now, that would you say was 19%? Was it 19% believe in ghosts?
19%.
That seems low.
They believe in ghosts. And I think it was 12% of the people think they live in a haunted house.
I would have thought the people who believed in ghosts would far outnumber the people who believe that Satan possesses people on a somewhat regular basis.
Oh, that doesn't. It happens pretty rarely.
Pretty routine.
9% of the public.
Satan's a busy man.
How about you? You believe in the devil, right?
I do.
You do, and you believe in ghosts, afterlife, that sort of thing.
I do, and that's kind of my wife and I have those discussions a lot about how it doesn't really talk a whole lot about ghosts or hauntings in the Bible or any of our beliefs that we were raised with, but it's an interesting thing, and we've covered it on The Horseman. You may have heard of that show. It's now
barely, briefly.
So much like Kat with her bee stings, on to bigger and better things, bigger and bugger things.
Nikki, the old cake fancer.
It's an interesting thing with the paranormal because people think that that's just like if you're an atheist. So how can you believe in an afterlife with ghosts, but not believe in God. So there's two different sides of the coin of that people can shut you down. I just find it to be fascinating, interesting. We've talked about, Coast to Coast AM a bunch of times, one of my favorite radio shows and yours. Just the mystique around it and the mystery of that. And here's the thing about it. It's the same as UFOs or anything else that people claim is largely not proven. The problem is not the fact that, say, 99% of these things can be debunked, but the 1%, which is actually more than 1%, cannot be proven or debunked or giving a normal type of explanation. And that's what makes the fascination, because really, if 1% can't be explained, you've already debunking it does nothing, because it means there is some element to it that actually does exist, whether it's, if you're talking about hauntings, residual, which that could be a very scientific frequency, energy, or wavelength based explanation. But some of the intelligence stuff that you and I have looked at on the shows we've done together is, it's like, fascinating, scary, eerie, all that stuff kind of rolled into one.
So have you had are you part of the 19%? Have you had some sort of an experience?
I have. I've had more than one. I wouldn't say that I'm any kind of sensitive or I'm attracted by it, but there's certain times.
You're very attractive. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
The ghosts aren't attracted to me. Always male ghost. But there's nothing wrong with that either. I covered it. Not
canceled.
So,
pretty canceled already.
There's been a couple of different things quite interesting. EVPs have been something my wife refuses. Like when we lived in our last apartment, I wanted to run the Zoom H6 all night. She refused to let me do that. And even when we moved into this Florida apartment,
you got to not set it up in the bedroom, because that's just dirty.
We just set up the H6 in the bedroom, overnight, so that we know there's a ghost just watching us all night. I'm fascinated by that. We've wanted to do ghost haunts. We live not far from St. Augustine, the Lions, I think it is, a White Horse. There's a few different places in downtown St. Augustine.
I think St. Augustine is allegedly one of the most active paranormal spots in Florida.
Really?
You're correct with that. St. Augustine is right up there with New England, which is some of the oldest houses in the entire nation outside of castles overseas. But I've had a few things that I just kind of put them off to the side or whatever. But there was one when I was very young. Laughing at me.
Sorry, I'm laughing. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing at the fact that the New England stories are always they came from royalty and they came from a very blue blood family. All the Florida ghost stories about scumbag pirates murdering each other.
It's amazing how that story changes the more south you go.
Yeah, the further south you go, it's just in New England, they came over on the Queen May, and they were very blue blood, and the family was entrenched
of an old duchess.
Intrigue. By the time you get to Florida, it's and then these scumbag pirates, and these guys came in and murdered this group, and they buried treasure here and shot a dog here. They just
this bunch of degenerates.
That's all it is. It's the further down south you get, the worse the ghost stories get.
They basically it's Florida Man, but it's just ghosts.
Classic ghost story from Florida is a guy died while fishing without a license and had a DUI and his license suspended, and ends up haunting A1A. So he's avenged.
I think that's
all that he gets revenge on the
wildlife. I will curse you forever.
Out of season.
Haunting A1A. That just, I don't know. That just sounds like Paulie B wandering up and down A1A looking to get in some club that they won't let him in.
Oh, really?
Continue.
He's much bigger than a ghost. He's not a ghost. You talking about Bubba?
Anyway, go ahead. Continue.
So you want to eventually let me talk about my experience sometime?
Oh, go ahead. No, that's what we.
Please,
that's why you were jogging by, man. Please.
So tell me about your experience. I have a funny story. Just thinking out loud, and just shut up for a few minutes, Stevie. After I ask you the question, I'll just
listen. You can have your show whenever you want.
Where is Kat? Is she okay? Is she still in the emergency room from the repeated bee sting this year?
Unfortunately, she and Thomas J. Have passed from bee stings. So we don't make jokes about it. So it's just
Right.
a little,
It just hurts
little
now.
insensitive of you. Yeah.
Or maybe the bee sting was like
Be
person
considerate,
in the crowd.
please.
How she'll live.
Be considerate. Let's move on. Please tell your story. Don't talk about our fallen members.
The paranormal ones, there's been some that have been unintentional, a couple that have been intentional. Probably the reason why my wife doesn't want me to bring the Zoom recorder to check and see if we have any overnight EVPs, because I have caught a couple of EVPs with past Zoom devices in other places I've lived. Very kind of eerie ones, but they feel like they're more residual. There was one experience when I was actually early in ECW. I lived in Philadelphia, and this is why this is one where I tried to debunk it, but it was just so weird that I was living with a bunch of roommates in Philly. I had the basement apartment, the finished basement. I used to fall asleep every night watching TV, but I would turn the sound all the way down. So I wouldn't mute it. I would turn the sound all the way down. As it turns out, I turned the sound all the way down, tried to change channels. The remote was broken. So I was like, oh, I bet our batteries were dead. Just wasn't working. So the remote got put kind of on an end table that wasn't anywhere near me. So I didn't leave it in bed. So about 2 a.m., the volume just went from 0, and you can see the numbers going all the way up to like 25, 26. That's weird. Where's the remote? Am I laying on it? No, it's all the way over there. So as I go to pick up the remote, before I even get to it, I look over at the TV and the volume gets turned down 26 to 12. And I look around and I'm like, what is going on? Volume, when I ask that, goes all the way up to the max on certain things. And I was like, are you a ghost? What are you trying? I just literally asked, are you a ghost? Volume down, volume up, volume down, volume up. Had to be at least 2 times each way. And I had chills, and it felt very cold, and it was July. And the air conditioning in a house with no central air is not good. It's very localized. So that was probably my most unexplained thing, because it kept repeating itself over and over again. As I hadn't even made it over to the remote as these things are going on, by the way. So if I had made it to say I used the remote and it was functioning, I wasn't currently touching it and was in my eyesight from that end table. So that's the kind of thing of something that's very intelligent or whatever you would say.
Yeah.
Like,
so now I know people.
If it just did it off a circuit once where somehow that controller some shorted out and it went all the way up and stayed at that volume, that would be something. But I replaced the batteries, and the batteries were actually functioning. Put the old batteries back in, and guess what happened? The remote was functioning.
Yeah.
So very.
And I know there could be people who could say, "Oh, well, somebody upstairs' remote was coming through." That, I don't know. Like, that's, you can sit all day and come up with 1,000 reasons what happened. There was somebody, it was a rib, or somebody upstairs' remote.
Sounds behind the couch with another remote.
Here's where I further want to debunk that, because I said, okay, maybe everybody or the upstairs TV is the same brand as the one I have here.
Right.
Upstairs TV was like a Zenith. Downstairs TV was like an off-brand, like a Vizio or something completely different. So there's one thing, and it can't, IR can't travel. Usually down, and if it was across the room and say the dining from the living room, and definitely not the bedrooms all the way down to the basement.
Yeah, it's not going to cross the signal like that.
Yeah, too much interference for something that kind of catch a cross signal on that.
And one of the scariest things about the whole story is the fact that you used an off-brand TV.
Is what?
You, of all people, using an off-brand TV. Crazy.
Yeah.
That's the scariest part of that story.
It's the early days.
Out anyway, too, so I was fine. So,
So, Here's the thing: did you do any kind of research? Did you look into somebody lived there before you? Somebody died before? What's Philly? So somebody probably died before you.
Chances are good.
If they didn't, they did.
Chances are good. There was a death in that house.
I will haunt this TV.
Nobody, yeah, and I don't need not the coffee maker or anything, but that TV, I'm gonna take that motherfucker out. I need to do something about that. But no, I mean it was a house that was owned by my friend's parents and passed on. So they were still alive, but rented it out to us, and they had lived in that house probably a good 20, 30 years. So no, there's nothing.
Think of the shit they did.
What's that?
I mean, they did live in Philly.
They did. They used to have sex on a TV, and it used to put the volume up and down as they
think about it.
So their sexual shows.
Just think about the energy trapped in that TV from his old balls rubbing against it.
Tom Zenith died in that house.
Jimmy Vizio and his friends that were killed by the mob in that house. So there was another. I know this is your wife's story, but I saw those pictures.
How dare you both make fun of me? I came on here to open up my heart.
You were just jogging
passing
by. I
by.
get it, brother. That's fine. Apparently listening under my window.
He's in the
walls.
walls.
Had an impromptu conversation. Jesus.
That was very organic, I thought.
So your wife's story, and I've seen these pictures, which was really kind of cool. Now, what was that building that she saw that thing in?
That was actually in Roswell, Georgia, which is one of the most haunted towns as well. Actually, some of the homes in Roswell, because we looked at homes, literally they put in the disclosure and sometimes the description that basically it's butting up against the cemetery, some of the homes, to the point where some people were finishing off their basements and the coffins were coming through as because that won't disturb any spirits there. But this was one of the homes on the Ghost Walk that we went on in Roswell, and it was a good ghost walk. It was nice weather, and the person was very knowledgeable. And they were trying to. It was so funny because the girl tried to act like she wanted to be like into it, but you could tell she had done this was like her 200th ghost walk, and she's like, anyway, the old jack-o'-lantern. Anyway, this fucking. Yeah, let's go over here, go to the next town and get some trim.
Probably just had a group of people from Jersey before you guys.
So we were doing that, and like everybody's taking their pictures, and my wife and the girl was like telling the story, like sometimes you see so and so in the window up here. So my wife took a picture of the window and saw the apparition or the whatever of that. Now the gargoyle was a completely different one in North Carolina. But this one, which looked like a mix between either a satanic type of effigy or William Shakespeare, take your pick. So we looked up, and it was so funny. I'm going to ask her if she can send it to us.
Yeah, if you get the picture, send it. We'll put it up. But because I've seen the picture before, and at first, you go to debunk it immediately. Well, it's the tree branch. It's the reflection of the tree banging off the window, but the picture it was a really cool picture, and the more you look at it, the more you kind of got the oh man, I don't know, that's something.
Maybe there's something to it.
Yeah, it was so much harder to say no the more you looked at it. It was just weird.
Yeah, we didn't want to, obviously we were just taking pictures to see, whatever. Just
it was the architect. Actually, that's how your wife had framed it when she told me about it. She said, she was like, we're looking at the windows and we were looking at the other stuff. Not like looking in the windows. You were looking at the architecture of the house. And you guys caught that.
It just so happened to catch the window.
Yeah. It wasn't like she was like, ooh, I saw something. Like she had no idea until after she took the picture.
It was so great, too, because, like I said, this person was obviously just couldn't wait to get out of there and just get drunk because their life was coming short some way, form, or fashion.
Reliving the same day over and over again.
My wife went over, like she wants to join the ghosts.
She can never leave.
I mean, you're talking about, the classic Halloween goth girl with, everything. Sorry, Sal. But Anyway, my wife ran up to her and said, "Oh, look, we got something on the thing." And she's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, of course you did.
The old veteran in the locker room, like, you go up and go, "Oh, I got a really cool spot I want to do." Yeah, sure, kid. Whatever. You know, it's
Take your cigarette out in your coffee cup.
Take your little
I
pictures.
spent a fucking thousandth of a fuck of what we had on that cap. She could care less, but it was cool. My wife is very skeptical, but at the same time doesn't want to take any chances. Like when I say,
I was gonna say, go ahead.
No, because we wanted to, like in St. Augustine, those places are like bed and breakfast. You know, I was trying to get into and ever since you moved down here and haven't wanted to hang out, I've wanted us to go in there and do an investigation. But she wants to do it, but she doesn't want any part of what might happen if we just.
she wants to go, but nothing bad happened.
Nothing follows.
Yeah, she's the type.
I was gonna say, like, every picture she takes afterwards, that satanic guy is somewhere in the background. He's just getting closer and closer.
She's the type who you're like, "Oh, well, that's a ghost." She's like, "Ghosts don't exist," and you're like, "Well, let's do this. Let's do the Bloody Mary thing." Oh God, no.
No.
She wouldn't do it.
That small percentage of a possibility.
So, yeah, and that's the other point. Like, I think Florida had a stat, and I actually didn't save it, which I should have, but I'm a professional. Florida had a stat like they had the most like paranormal investigations or investigators per capita of the United States. Florida has the most. So it's like all these different places.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't fit into I don't have the super, like, starched, itchy, black, collared shirt, nor the very loose, black, itchier jeans. And what are they, what are those fucking boots Raven used to wear? The
Doc Martens.
Doc Martens. I don't have Doc Martens. I don't have a chain going from loop to loop on my jeans.
Yet.
I have the brim cat that I like that. Nor do I have the glasses from the goat team.
So wait a minute. Let me understand this. Are you saying this is what all ghost hunters look like?
Yes, I am. How's that?
Mr. Zach Baggins, I will make sure I'm there to pull him off of you when he sees you.
If he can see you.
If he can see you. What is it? Dio monocular
demon house.
Strained eyes.
Just give him the old Velma. Just knock his glasses off. He's powerless.
My glasses. So, okay. So, question number 2. Actually, you brought that since we were talking about this earlier about the whole Georgia and real estate thing. You have a little bit of an insight. So, I just watched The Watcher, which is based on that story in Jersey, right? The people were getting letters to the house all that time. At this point, I guess this was in the 2000s, they had stated they went to the real estate guy and they're like, "How come you didn't tell us that there was a murder in this house? How come you didn't tell us that there was this shit going on?" And the guy's like, "Oh, we don't have to." And I said, I thought that was a law now that you had to disclose all that stuff. Or does the homeowner have to ask? And I'm asking you only because I know you'd have a little bit more of an insight than I would.
Well, yeah. I mean, I thought legally you should be required. I mean,
it's like full disclosure, right?
Right.
When the deal happened and it crashed in my house in Florida, I had to disclose that to the buyer. That's something that happened in the house. So unless it's state to state. So Florida, maybe you have to report that, but then Florida of all places.
I was going to say.
Do whatever you
want. Because this was in Jersey, and I thought I said, is that the pic?
The face.
The face.
Can you send that to me, and then I'll send it to Chuck and have Chuck put it up if you can, because it's honestly it's really a cool looking picture.
Actually, I can probably send it through the group text. When you were trying to get me on since last week, trying to get it going.
You mean just randomly before you got on? And you were like, "Hey guys, I might be in the area jogging by. Can I be on your show?" And I'm like, "Yeah, sure, if you want." Since you're not doing anything, fine, that's fine.
What are the chances?
What are the odds?
So this is very This is when you look really in close at it, and this could be the optical illusion part of it. I sent it to both you guys. When you look at that picture, obviously if you look really, really close, like to the screen, it looks like the curtain. When you pull back, you get to see that face form. And the thing about the face is, if it was, say, a lace curtain or drapery that had those like kind of dark pits or patterns to it, I could see that. But this is a pretty solid curtain where the form of the face almost looks like it's kind of imprinted into the curtain or in front of the curtain. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
This kind of looks like a Skyrim mask, like one of the masks from Skyrim.
Because you pick it up immediately when you look at it. Like it's instant that you see it. It doesn't take you like a second to.
You're not looking at the eyes to focus on the face or create the face, whatever that psychological thing that people do when they want to see, like
they look closely enough,
or whatever, or a cloud or things
like
like
the sailboat.
It's a schooner.
Schooner is a sailboat, you
dumb
dummy
bastard.
Now, let me ask you guys a question, since we're all lovers here, and you have your new cat colony there, Sal. Have you guys ever encountered ghost animals from your past, or
from my
Matrix thing where you kind of see it twice, type thing?
Like you just see it in like your peripheral vision, like you feel like you catch a glimpse.
No,
of an old pet, or
been to the point where you feel like that. I have animals, so where you feel like the cat is rubbing up against you, and then you go into the next room, both cats are dead asleep, but you're in the kitchen, and there's no way they could have.
Yeah.
You know.
Or you see the dog trot by the door, and you're like, "Let me out." You go to let him out, and you're like, "Wait a minute."
What the dog's been dead for 5 years.
Well, that's the thing. Like, you don't see it as a scary moment. It's not a freaky thing. It's your brain is actually just moving on this impulse to go, like, rinse, repeat sort of thing. Like, oh, he ran by, let me go open the door. And then you're like, wait. What makes it?
Those are residual or intelligent? Because I feel like those, if to be residual, they have to be almost imprinted with the house. So the fact that we have felt the presence or saw the presence of our ferals from Georgia that we brought, we cremated them and brought their ashes here. So they're still technically traveling with us. There's been 2 to 3, same exact thing in the kitchen. And you know how animals feel about food. So their natural inclination is to.
And that residual thing would make sense because the animal spends its whole life in that place.
So let me bring this up too. Then
this is in different places, Chuck.
Yeah, I was just saying, like normally, like if you have a pet, like my cat was here his whole life, more or less. So like it makes sense if there was some trace of him left, it'd be here, right?
So here's the thought now. What about in the woods, in the wild, deer? Squirrels, anything with a lifespan, a decent lifespan.
Bees.
And I'm just phantom hornets. So like think about it, if you like a deer whose whole life is just I walk this path, I do this, I run through the woods this way every day for 15 years, 20 years, and then he dies and just doesn't know. Because what do you think their concept of death is? So maybe it just keeps repeating. Again, we go into the energies and the resolutions and the
just
vibrations.
Reliving a moment over and over and over again.
It's just it's reliving and doing what it did. Because, and not to say they're stupid, but some, be fair, I've had pets who they'd be too dumb to know they're dead, and they would just keep doing their shit over and over. So you know what I mean? Like it makes sense, and that's why I think that's why it seems less scary. Like nobody's ever afraid of like a phantom cat.
Yeah.
Like even in Pennsylvania, they had the candle place on what's it called, 57 or one 601, I think. They had a ghost monkey because the guy who lived there had a monkey, and the ghost monkey would knock shit off the counter and it would knock stuff off the shelves. And nobody was afraid of it. Everybody went to go see, because who's going to be afraid of a ghost monkey? Like a real monkey will tear your face off. You know, that's kind of frightening. You don't want to do that. But like a ghost monkey,
that's
I can
tolerable.
see a ghost monkey. Yeah, it's tolerable. So, all right, man. Well, we don't want to keep you. We know you have to get the rest of your workout in. You got your e-bike with you, which those look pretty impressive.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
So,
you know,
yeah,
this
tell us where-
organic,
tell us-
completely.
Right outside, since I was stalking you guys, I'm going to listen to the rest of the show from outside, peeking in like.
That's fine.
All right, we're just gonna have to call the police, though.
So where can ghost hunters find you to comment about your stereotyping? Where can they reach you at?
I mean, you can follow me at HMG, Hami Media Group, on Twitter, and you can email me, hackerhamin@gmail.com. Be as nasty as you want. Send all the emails you want. And,
You're looking at the new Stevie Baggins.
I was going to
listen,
say,
I
man.
heard that Jay and Billy got co-producer of the year from Ghost Adventures.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they, man? they get it all. So where can we
Send all the hate my way, but tell me, you look at the fucking on-demand on Discovery Plus or Travel Channel especially, and you look at, all right, here we go, Ghost Nation, Ghost Terror, Ghost
Boogie Brothers.
Come at me, Ghost Bro.
Lockdown, Ghost Adventures, Ghost Hunters, the Ghost Hunters Returns.
International.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Ghost Hunters
Europe.
International?
Fuck those guys.
Alien Gold 2K3, 2K23. Alien Gold.
That's a little too soon, man. It's a little raw.
Still hurts.
Yeah, so if Zach
Come on,
Bagans
man.
wants to have a beef with me or any other the ghosties, whatever you want to call them,
All he's got to do is position himself correctly, and the sun will burn him whole through like that through his giant George Romero glasses.
see, you're much meaner. See, that's the thing. Now, here we go. Dead no
His-
save
his-
on Instagram.
His glasses are bigger than the fucking screen on that TV you had
The
back then.
screens on the TV. Yeah. He's turned. He bought Stevie's haunted TV for his museum, but then just turned them into lenses for his glasses.
Old,
His gigantic
old
glasses.
Zenith eyes.
I heard
Old
SETI.
Vizio eyes.
I heard SETI wants his glasses because they can't quite reach the galaxy they need to communicate with the atom. There we go.
So where can we see you riding around the countryside on your e-bikes?
None of your goddamn business. How's that?
Wow.
Jeez.
Well, gee, you and Chuck know, just everybody else.
No, I mean plug your shit. Is what I'm
Yeah.
telling you, guy.
God.
And help you out.
Where can they find you on the interwebs?
Self-promoter here. StevieRichardsFitness.com. Whether you're alive or dead, please use our affiliate links to support the content. Also, got a
Chuck, please.
program.
Could you?
You do have an
What are you
affiliate
doing?
good headset mic too, if you want to check.
Yeah,
that.
you know what? Let's start that over because Chuck was eating popcorn.
It's
We
a
do have
Chuck,
It's a haunting.
Chuck Papadon was crunching through his friendly bar.
Jesus Christ, let me talk. We do have a recommended list of headset mics. I'll get this fucking joke out eventually.
Sal, I got a funny story, by the way.
Right now. List of headset mics that are great for handling noise, so you don't make any noise while someone's pitching their brand. StevieRichardsFitness.com. Check it out. Go to the YouTube channel. Almost up to 81,000 subscribers. Still shadow banned from the times that Sal and I were part of a show that told the truth on a weekly basis. So we're now persona non grata.
That damn Zach Baggins.
It wasn't Zach Baggins. It was just
I like to think it was.
back checkers.
Keep the beef alive.
Backs checkers.
Yeah, it's been back checkers. So again, thank you very much for stopping by. We'd like to have you back sometime when you get a break in your schedule.
Appreciate this
you put out
spontaneous
content
talk.
daily, right? Daily, you put out something new. You're always hustling, always working, always on the beach working out.
No, I put it in the queue and then I relax for the rest of That's no.
He does one strong workout on Fridays. You can catch him Fridays
I just
working out.
split it up. All right, 5 minute, 10
I
minute.
have fucking hard work and then I just time the post as they go. Like grinding shit.
So, yeah.
That's all fucking work smart.
Go check him out at SRF Fitness, right?
Wow. See, I told you.
Right,
what-
that's it.
and stuff.
It's a thing, right?
So again, thanks, man. And we're going to be right back. We're going to go walk Stevie out to his car.
Make sure he gets out there okay.
You know what? Yeah.
I don't want him to get jumped by some ghost bro out in the parking lot.
Oh, Ghost Brothers too. There's another show. There's about 100 of them on there.
I had an idea for a wrestling
You
with
not like
ghosts
them?
thing that you guys probably could have done.
Wrestling with ghosts.
Wrestling with ghosts.
Wrestling with the paranormal.
Wrestling with the paranormal.
Suplexing our way into town. Body slamming our way into town. Any local news trope will do. There you go.
I did write a pitch for a show called Wrestling with Shadows, but I guess nobody wanted it. It just seemed like it was overdone.
I wrote a show called Rough Enough. They didn't like it.
Does this have to do with the Zoom camera in your bedroom?
That sounds like one of the movies you used to fucking direct, Sal. Rough Enough.
Good night, everybody. We'll be right back.
There we go.
Oh, Chuck, it is. I gotta tell you. Listen,
What's going on?
we've been on ice for a while. We've been dead and buried for a bit. Now we're crawling back, and I'm feeling my age. Feeling a little creaky, feeling a little stiff.
Time sneaking up on you.
Time's sneaking up, but we've been laying dormant. We've been just waiting. And I mean, Junkyard, we're back. Horror Junkyard's all around everybody. It's our season. We had to come back. Those kids, they didn't know what they were doing. They were doing the dance on the graves and the whole nine and the virgins. And regardless of what happened, the fact is we're back. And now that we're back, I got to tell you, I'm feeling a little sluggish. I need to get in better shape.
Need to get active?
I think that's what we both need, Chuck. We both have some atrophy going on. We both have some rigor mortis. I think we need to get back into shape. And I think the best way to do that is StevieRichardsFitness.com.
What? Stevie Richards Fitness?
Yeah, SRF, man. StevieRichardsFitness.com. I feel like there's so much he has to offer. That and his YouTube channel, which I'm sure you can probably put the links below because, I mean, you're the producer of the year, Chuck.
Absolutely. If I can't do that,
yeah,
I'm not worth my producer of the year.
You're not
salt.
worth your salt that you were never given. So that's what we're here to do, people. We're here to give back because we are givers.
That's right. And if there's any man that can help you get back into the shape that you deserve to be in,
that
Stevie
is
Richards.
Stevie Richards. You make sure you check him out at StevieRichardsFitness.com. He puts new content out on YouTube every single day. It's just nonstop. The guy does not take a break.
The hardest working man in fitness.
He is, and we need to follow his example. We need to hustle like he does. We need to work like he does. So I don't know if about all in the sun and boogie boarding like he does, but whatever, man. Like I said, Stevie Richards Fitness.
It always looks great.
StevieRichardsFitness.com is all you got to do. Go check that out. Make sure you show him some love. Check out some of his programs. He's got amazing programs. He was one of the innovators of the bands. I don't know if you knew that or not, Chuck.
No.
Yeah. A lot of people said, bands have been around for years. They have, but you know what? Stevie Richards invented them.
But he's the one that brought them to America.
He brought bands to America when he sailed across the sea. So I want you people to appreciate that and thank him for everything he does for us. So you want to get in shape, you want to just feel better about yourself, go to StevieRichardsFitness.com and check out the links below, people.
So aside from that, now Tommy comes up from downstairs at this point.
Finally.
And he hears a little, and he kind of looks like, maybe somebody's breaking into my house out in the middle of nowhere. And he goes and he sees Brian and Vera making the beast with two backs, and Vera's boobies are out again because that's what she's contributing to this movie apparently. And Tommy literally takes Brian and beats the shit out of him. And as Vera overreacts and screams, "Tommy, no, stop it," in the screechiest fucking owl voice ever. Brian tries to man up and punch Tommy, and Tommy no-sells it, slaps it away, and then punches him again. And just beats the shit out of this guy. Then fucking Three Stooges him out the door, gives him the fucking shove off, throws him down. And you're just like, whoa. Now, we were watching this, and I really want to put this, I started thinking, I'm going, to be fair, Tommy hasn't done anything that an older brother wouldn't do.
Yeah.
He's not out of control.
Did the honorable thing.
He's not weird. Like, aside from his face, he's socially awkward, but he hasn't done anything bad. So Brian is now walking home or walking back somewhere through a cemetery.
Very, very humiliated.
And not even just like a little, like a west. Oh, these pioneers were killed and buried here. This was a gigantic cemetery he was walking through.
He was walking through the Night of Living Dead cemetery.
Yeah, he had walked all the way to Pittsburgh.
Just a wide open.
Barbara and Johnny drove by him, and he was just mad. And he's totally mugging for the camera with it. Oh, kick his ass, Tommy Drindle. And you're like, what?
It's like, dude, you just got beat up by a guy named Tommy Drindle.
Yeah, you got beat up hard.
That was an awkward fight because anybody who lost that fight, it's the most humiliating thing that could possibly happen to you.
It was like fighting. It was like fighting a little person, because if you won, you just fought a little person. But if you lost, you got your ass kicked by a little person. And so Tommy Drindle beat this turd up, threw him out, and then he's humbling, mumbling. He's Blutoing himself through the cemetery. And then he kicks the tombstone. He goes, ow, my foot. And you're like, oh, Brian. So Brian sees somebody standing there and decides to run. And let me tell you something. Steven Seagal runs more manly than Brian did. Tom Cruise runs less goofy than Brian did. So Brian goes to run and obviously forgets right, left, and dumps right into a giant open grave.
And this wide open cemetery in the middle of the day.
Immediately turns into a sobbing bitch. And he, help me.
Can't get out.
You're like, what, dude? If you stood up straight,
yeah,
you could be up to your waist, guy. You can literally get out of this.
You can literally just like stand up, sit back, and just swing your legs over, and like you're out of the hole. You don't even have to like lift your legs up.
But he finds a skull and sees it, and he Lou Costello's it, and he's like, and he freaks out, stands up, and cries to whoever's standing over him, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" And he gets clobbered with a shovel, which was actually, I'm gonna say, was pretty good.
Yeah.
The shovel gag was
good
pretty
effect.
good. Yeah, for a physical effect, it was nice. It was nice to see it done.
Nice positive.
And yeah, and considering the awful garden weasel and then the back of Bill's head, this was pretty good. The shovel in the head gag was good. So Brian's gone and you're glad. You're not upset in any way, shape, or form.
This is the part I think you guys are nuts.
Why, you liked Brian?
The shovel in the head part.
You didn't think it? You didn't think it was good?
Okay.
No. Well, tell me. I want to know.
I don't think I'm sure I know how that's great, but.
Do you not think it looks?
That's what you guys like?
It all looks kind of hokey.
Okay, fair enough. So, but again, this is the reason. So for us to turn around and say we thought it was great, in the context of what it is, we have our view. Hearing from somebody who doesn't normally watch people getting hit in the head with shovels, it's a different thing altogether. So then we go back to
which is the one decent effect in the entire film.
Yeah, Roger and Beth now have made they had their meet cute where they walk through a cemetery, almost shoot children, and then decide to fuck on a gravestone
Yeah, like you do.
Not a grave.
or
A freshly dug grave.
Freshly, yeah.
True, yes. So now this is the Law. This is Johnny Law and the girlfriend of his sister.
Let's not forget how they got there, though.
On his bike, not in a cop car,
On his
No.
on his motorcycle.
On his little Yamaha.
shit.
Right. Well, the sergeant wanted me to check this place out. There's a lot of weird stuff going on here.
Kids.
It's great that when he brought up to his grandfather, and so grandpa lays it out to him too. Roger Drindle, my grandson. And you're like, yeah, man, we got that.
Yeah, that's been established.
It's been established hours ago. What feels like hours ago.
It feels like an eternity. It felt like 15 years. I'm with Tommy. This felt like a fucking slog. Decades have passed.
So so now Roger says, yeah, there's some weird stuff going on, Grandpa. So now I'm not sure if everybody knows Grandpa's a Satanist,
I guess
or everybody
not.
just doesn't talk about it. But Roger very
There might be something
naively
wrong
and
with Granddad.
almost convincingly ignorant says, Grandpa, there's a lot of weird stuff going on, like satanic rituals. And Grandpa goes, satanic rituals? Huh. Like he convinced him, I'd better play innocent or the cops will be on to me. I'd better throw Johnny Law off the trail. I don't know nothing about it.
Oh, they should have cut him and he had the robe on and the fucking like a severed head. Don't know what you're talking about, kiddo.
I have no idea, Roger. Satanic rituals, you see. Yeah, so it's so stupid. Terrible. So now, also, Grandpa never gave Vera those pumpkins. They never left the back of his truck, and they will be there for 25 years. So the dance is going on. No. Let's reverse it before we get back to the dance. So Beth and Roger bone on a grave. Again, more 1930s haha comes in when Brian's dead hand comes out. And Beth grabs it. Okay. Now Beth grabs Brian's dead hand, and we show Roger both hands digging up deep up in that ass. And at no point does she go, weird.
Your hand's so
Your
cold.
hand's so cold.
Your hand's so cold.
I warm up. Huh? Okay, so we just blow that off. We're fine.
Get the Leslie Nielsen third hand.
Yeah.
Naked gun coming in.
Slap block, third hand. So now she goes and she tells Vera, they cut the cut scene to Roger's now on duty, so he has to go. So I'll talk to you later, you pig.
The one working cop in this town.
Well, no, the other cops blew him off. They made fun of him. So Roger is at the party. Beth has taken Vera to the grave where her and her brother fucked.
Let me take you down the studio tour.
And she's like, right here, right over here. And it's obviously freezing because they're both wearing these giant puffy jackets. And you see Breath at some point. And she says, she's like, oh, it was wonderful. I'm sorry, what? You did what? So now...
Right on cue.
She's just like, you almost done, right? So now she says to Vera says to Beth, she says, oh, great, Beth. First the spider, now the hand in the grave trick. What fucking trick was that? Now the fake hand for me to find. It's like, and she says flat out to her with no expression, I didn't put any hand out.
What are you talking about? Who would do that?
At this point, you're really like, you're not even trying to sell it. She's like, no, I didn't do that. Don't do that. Please don't pick up that hand.
Don't.
So she picks
stop.
up the hand and she pulls it out, and it turns out to be Brian's body, to which the sister says, Vera says, Tommy did this. I'm going to get him. Okay. So for this turd who you've been dating for literally a month, they state that earlier, she's so angry that she's going to kill her brother over this dummy that she didn't get to actually have sex with. Although, according to mom and grandpa rules, her shirt was pulled down and her boob was exposed, so she could be pregnant.
Yeah. They went way further than they did.
Yeah. So they decide they have to run to the party and tell Roger. So they go to the party, and at the party they now kind of are going to get into she's going to confront them at the barn. She goes to the barn to confront Tommy, who is now going through the ritual.
Yeah, the 200th ritual that's been going on.
Right, which is in full swing at 8 in the morning, or 8 at night. That's exactly when all the power is. So the sister comes along, finds out, she stumbles in, and now Grandpa says she has to be sacrificed. So, okay. And they set her up. They're going to do it. And he says, Tommy, kill her. Tommy's about to do it. She said, and what strikes it, she says, Tommy, I'm your sister. She was going to kill him. But she walked in on Tommy's squad, and Tommy's squad got the jump on her. So Tommy says he does the and then cuts the ropes in the last second because nobody saw it coming.
She had to remind him that they were related. He's like, oh, yeah, wait a minute.
Oh, you are my sister. That's right. So Grandpa takes a second to explain to Tommy that he's disappointed him. And he's
disappointed.
Yeah, he will never be Satan's chosen. And his real family is in hell, but okay. Tommy runs out, Vera runs out. So Vera and Beth standing outside the whole time, heard none of it. They run outside, and she says, we have to go find Roger. They run to the party. They run directly to the party. They explain to Roger that Grandpa's a Satanist and they're trying to kill people. Whether everybody knew it or not, I don't know. I expected Roger to be like, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we all
We've known this for 15 years. He killed Dad. Is buried right behind our house. We know. And that's the other thing. 15 years, and Dad's gravestone looked like it was on a deserted island for 60 years.
It looked like a Civil War grave. Civil War.
Missing letters. And all I could imagine was they couldn't afford to buy new letters from the stick-on set. They're like, we're not buying another set. Fuck that.
So it's William Drindle, right, on the grave, but it was like William Drindle.
If you pronounce it without the vowels in it. So we're at the party. The girls decide, you know what? Because somebody gives Vera the side eye and is like, "You look like shit." So Vera's like, "Maybe I should freshen up.
Go clean yourself up."
Okay, so you were literally just almost killed by a satanic cult, and your boyfriend's dead. You guys are going to go hang your jackets up, and you're going to go wash your face and hang out at the party while Roger's doing nothing. Roger's getting the rest of the cop to show up.
The rest of the cop.
To show up and check.
I need to call a fellow cop to help me.
I need to call the whole squad of cop in. So they go and check it out. There's nobody at the ritual site. It's all gone, including the sweet goat head that they used every chance they could.
And these fucking guys are there all month, it looked like. Never left it.
So they go back to the party. Somebody's mom was there dressed as like a Southern belle, and she got killed. And then Beth got killed. Both pretty ineffectually. Nothing great.
It looked like they were trying to make up for lost time. Like they forgot they're supposed to be killing people in this horror movie.
Yeah, so they had to get everybody in real quick.
Like the lightning round.
So Grandpa shows up, and then who you assume is Tommy shows up. And Grandpa puts his mask back on to fight, by the way.
Well, we have a sword duel.
Yeah.
For some reason.
I remember Errol Flynn. Me and Errol Flynn used to suck each other's dicks off. So he taught me. It was true though. High Pike and Errol Flynn used to date. So allegedly. So now they have a fight, a really unspectacular fight. The fight scene was terrible, where they're fighting one with a shovel, one with.
I mean, unspectacular is just the theme of the film.
And the other with a garden weasel. So Grandpa winds up taking a garden weasel in the chest and dies. But not before grabbing Roger, who goes, Grandpa, like he was so upset that Grandpa was being killed. They all hated the man. Nobody loved him. Nobody cared about him. They thought he was doing satanic rituals, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, he was openly creepy, terrible.
And they're all like, Grandpa. And they roll him over, and Roger. And he looked, I don't know how they did this, but High Pike looked worse in his death scene. And he tells Roger, it's in the blood. And you see a cat toy laser on Roger's head for a second. And the person who fought Grandpa is running away. Roger draws down and says, Tommy, stop. And just fires.
Shoots him.
Just shoots at him. Meanwhile, if you think about it, if this was Tommy just fought the man who wanted him to kill his sister.
Yeah.
So again, Tommy didn't do anything. Tommy is just the innocent pawn here. So Roger shoots, hits the person. They slam into the door, open the door, and stagger out. So you're like, oh shit, Tommy no-sold it. Okay, Nicolas Caged it from fucking Con Air. Okay,
just tanked a bullet.
He just took the bullet. All right.
Took that in stride.
All right, terrific. And then we see a 65-mile trek, like he was marching fucking Bataan through the orchard. And turns out it's Mom. Mom takes the mask off. Mom's been killing everyone.
It's a twist.
It's the twist, everyone. M. Night Shyamalan. So Mom did it. And you could tell, and you think back, that's why the girl got killed. Because she was corrupting Tommy, and Mom didn't like who he was hanging out with.
Mom was just trying to keep the family together.
And she says it again while she cries and dies. Crying and dying.
One last cry.
And Tommy comes to her aid and he says, Mom, I love you. So at this point, you really understand that Tommy was a fucking nothing in this movie. He literally served zero purpose. He was absolutely no help to anyone. If anything, Satan was pissed at High Pike for going, what are you doing? This guy's a loser.
That's a 15-year investment.
Down
the drain.
Train a whole new idiot now. So High Pike, Grandpa's dead. Mom's dead. Tommy's alive. God, that's depressing in and of itself. Because even Grandpa could have started a new cult or something, but nope, not these idiots.
Tommy's not going to do anything. He's going to waste away in his basement.
Yeah, he's going to go back to the basement now. And who's going to work the fields? You think Tommy's going to work the orchard by himself?
Yeah, seriously.
Come on.
Got to do nothing.
Farm? It's going to go into ruin.
I couldn't lift a bushel of apples.
He couldn't even unload the back of Grandpa's pumpkin truck, for fuck's sakes. So we come to find out, and here's the big twist. The ritual is going on. Spins around. It's Roger. So we have zero idea. So that's how they end this movie. So you don't know anything else except Roger's now ahead of the cult.
Well, it's a sequel.
The sister's still alive. Tommy's still alive. Everybody's still alive except Grandpa and Mom.
Yeah. And all it took was to transfer his powers to another. Like, he could have done that with anybody. He could have picked anybody he wanted.
He could have took the blonde girl who he branded with that ink.
Yeah.
She has a tattoo on her butt that almost washes off when she got out of the tub. So he could have did it to literally anyone on the planet just by giving him the. And you know what? I'm ashamed of myself that we forgot the scene that I just laughed at. High Pike ad-libbing the pentagram fucking hand signs.
It's quick gesticulating.
they do the Rocky Horror meetup.
Oh.
Then he does.
I
just
forgot
does
they even
like,
have an awkward, embarrassing secret handshake.
Yeah, that even Tommy looked at him like, "What are you doing?
God, we gotta do the. Oh God, we gotta do the thing. All right.
We're not. That's not going to be a thing. No, it'll be great. It'll be like we'll say like it's fetch. It'll be like, hey, Grandpa, we're not doing that either.
Stop
No,
trying
it'll
to
be
fetch a
dope.
thing.
It'll be dope, Tommy.
Tommy, we're in the club, man. We're in the inn. The inn.
You're special, Tommy.
You want to be part of the alphas?
So, I know you've been holding it in because you had a lot to say about the movie when we watched it, so that was good. So now, what was your favorite scene in the movie?
My favorite bad scene in the movie.
No,
Anything.
Yeah, listen. You don't have
Good
to
or
color
bad?
this way.
I feel like the most ridiculous one was the comedian. That
Okay.
just had no place in it.
Okay. And the cringiest scene. Like if you were the actor doing that scene.
Maybe the graveyard romp
Oh,
on top of the grave.
you think that was the worst part? Jesus.
Yeah, her touching the hand of the guy who had just
And that was the thing. They showed as soon as she grabbed the hand, they immediately panned to Roger's hands on her ass. So there was clearly 3 hands involved that she no-sold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no other way around it.
No, and again, I feel like that was what's the word I'm looking for? That kind of summed up the movie. Because basically they told you. They were just like, let it go, guys. Don't think too hard and don't think too much about this.
Just don't
yeah.
try to figure it out. Don't try to look for a
Guys,
deeper
come on.
meaning.
Because again, if you were to put any kind of test to this movie, if you tried to look into any scene in this movie, it would fall apart instantly.
The tvtropes.org.
Mm-hmm.
And it breaks down the tropes of the movie.
Uh-huh.
One of them is talking about Hollywood Satanism, and at the end it says they also try to do the devil horn symbol, but due to errors in the filmmaking process, end up doing "I love you" in American Sign Language. So that's actually what Grandpa was doing the whole time.
I know. See, you know what? He was a kindly old grandfather. He's been saying "I love you"
You know
the
what?
entire time.
I misjudged the whole movie. He was a kindly old man.
So
Forget
that
it.
was accurate.
So now Shudder's got the wrong description. You got to contact Shudder
No,
now.
Shudder changed it. Shudder, as of the other night, Shudder changed it to a family involved in Satanism, a secret satanic cult. So they actually updated it.
But now they can just go back and put "loving grandfather."
So now this was this came on the tail end of the Satanic Panic in the 80s. So I feel like maybe they saw the need for this as like, oh, let's cash in on this real quick.
Way too late.
Yeah.
Did I ask you? I'm like, was this still a thing? Like when this movie came out, were they still in the throes of the
a little bit
panic?
They were. It was late 80s, but they were coming out of it. Actually, Tipper Gore was doing more of the. Do you not know what this is? Wait a minute, hang on. Do you not know about like all this censorship and all the shit that they did?
No.
What were you doing in the 80s?
Taking bubble baths, inviting their friends in.
I get that you were doing Black Ops and shit, but what were you doing that you didn't know this was happening? So they started, labeling records, all kinds of things. The movies, the rating boards for the movies were getting crazy with. They didn't want gore. They didn't want blood and things in the movies. They didn't want certain ideas being taught. Again, so TV tropes. They're talking about Hollywood Satanism. Do you think anybody saw the connection between that and this? Do you think anybody was like, "Oh yeah, that's happening in small town Portuguese"?
A group of
Families
fish,
being torn apart by satanic cults.
groups of fish-faced people are getting together to call Satan.
That would have been a better movie to watch. Deep Ones, infiltrate a family. But yeah,
And our old buddy, Blaine Bartel, right?
oh fuck,
Making that his thing. Because you said this pops up. These scenes pop up in everything, right?
Yeah, so-
Especially this movie.
as you know, one of the YouTube rabbit holes I love watching are fundamentalist Christian videos where everything's bad, music, soda, video games. It's all Satan.
They're
Like,
all gateways.
Literally everything we did as kids is a gateway to Satan, according to these fundamentalist videos, which they're fun to watch because they were made in the 80s, they were made in the 90s, and they were corny, and they don't hold up well to time because everybody's kind of moved on, but they're hysterical to watch. Hack-a-lantern, Grandpa in the fucking robes doing the "I love you" sign, doing the Jimmy Snuka is in every one of those videos. They've taken that clip,
The one image.
and they've also taken the girl with in the video with the 6 arms when she's standing in that gateway.
Yeah.
They show that too.
Sequence.
Yeah, they show that as rock music leads to damnation.
Now, you would think, like, okay, so they picked the lamest things to show that Satanism isn't cool.
Yes.
Or they just really think that that's like this is the worst it's ever going to be. This is the power it has. This is what they're doing out there.
That's the scary part. We got to, you're not sure which side they're coming from. They're like, look, if we show how lame it is, nobody will ever want to do it.
And then the other side, you're like, this is what they're scared of?
What was it? No, Spawn with Violator Clown.
Yeah.
And Violator Clown says, why do we get all the retards? Because that's what, that's who you get. You get the same people, these stereotypes. And you get the guys that you see in these shows. And you get guys like Tommy Drindle.
There's a million Tommy
Drindles up after that. I think once he was like, Tommy Drindle's my guy. Yeah, you know what, guys? Let's just pack it in.
Yeah, let's just call it's over.
We've done this enough. You know what? You got it, guy. It's on you, buddy.
I consider this a shutout for the forces of good. Like, they just got it. Like, no, you know what? The game's over. We're calling it. It's a mercy rule.
10-run rule, kid. You win. We're out.
When the other team's up 20-3, yeah, you just got to call it at this point. It's just done. You're just embarrassing yourselves at this point. Why drag it out?
So yeah, there we go. Hack-a-lantern.
What a great first movie to make somebody watch. Not putting our best foot forward. Like Grandpa, we're not picking our best.
Well, it was released in Germany and Mexico too. In Germany, they called it Satan's Rebirth.
Okay.
And in Mexico, it's called Hellish Spirits.
None of which existed in any of
titles that make way more sense.
I was going to say that those titles at least go with the theme of the movie.
There was zero supernatural things happening until the end of that movie. So
it's like calling the movie like Killer Comedian because the guy stops the movie for 5 minutes to do a bit.
Okay. Well, that was the thing. It was the books, the movies, Dungeons and Dragons. All those things were targets.
Yeah.
All those things made people, made people evil and go crazy. Mazes and Monsters. Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
It was a hatchet piece written by somebody that they were there to kind of get that agenda across because that's the time, and they were able to do it because they had the backing and they had the resource because everybody wanted to tell you how evil these things were.
Yeah, they said that like basically the premise was that it's going to confuse your sense of reality and fiction to the point where you're going to be destructive.
Right.
And they also thought that you could actually use the Dungeons and Dragons books to literally call demons into existence.
Yeah, they had real spells in it. It said so right there. What? Now that, again, wouldn't that have made it so much better if Tommy Drindle had D&D books all over his room?
Yeah.
Or do you think he was? Tommy Drindle was too cool for D&D, I think. He'd have been the guy who punched somebody. He might have been. He would. Shut up, nerd.
Nerd.
Tommy Drindle wore sleeveless black shirts and black jeans and black boots. Smoked.
When he threw Brian out of the house, Brian hits the ground. Maybe like D&D books could have spilled out somehow. Like just fell out of his pockets.
Grandpa's honking the horn. He's trying to roll up a character. Oh, come on, Grandpa. So yeah, so Hack-A-Lantern, everybody. Here we are.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. Can't get worse. That's not true.
It's gonna get worse.
It can always get worse.
Like Tommy Drindle will make everything worse.
Again, Tommy Drindle might be up there with Garbage Day for the level of like just goon white guy who supposed to be a killer of some sort.
Can't stress it enough just how little he did.
Yeah, he was, again, Tommy is a victim.
I guess like he's the closest thing to a hero, I guess this film has.
Yeah,
right?
and he was literally a victim. He was groomed by Grandpa.
And despite all that, he still saved.
He saved the day-ish.
Saved his sister's life, her modesty.
Well, he didn't kill her.
He stood up for his little sister.
For her virtue. Yeah. I think we all need to take a moment and just really think about how we can do better and how we could be a little more like Tommy Drindle.
That's right.
In our lives.
We can all be Tommy Drindle.
And I think going forward, I think that's going to be something that I'm going to put out. What would Tommy Drindle do? That'll be our new T-shirt on Horror Junkyard.
So you're just gonna sit in the basement and lift tiny weights.
WWTDD. That's it. So yeah, so I'm gonna say one Halloween special reboot, Horror Junkyard Apocalypse Halloween special. Ooh. I'm gonna call it done. How does it feel to be part of one of the universe's most wildly popular podcasts? Reboot, Halloween special.
Wow.
Horror Junkyard Apocalypse.
Super special. I'm just so honored.
I don't know if I like that attitude. I don't like your tone.
Channeling your Mrs. Drindle.
Yeah, so you know what? Get in touch with us. We have our email. I believe, again, this is the part you'd figure I would have this stuff down.
I have to have this stuff too. I completely forgot about that. We have things.
We have things because like you can get on us with the realhja at Gmail. If you want to get in touch with us on the email, you want to send us email because that was the thing. I actually enjoyed getting the emails from you guys with your questions and your saucy pictures of your grandmas and stuff. We're also on Instagram and HJA Show. It's a new channel, and we're gonna upload some different things, maybe some images of Hack-A-Lantern.
And I will have links in the description of the video that everybody can go to and check out. We'll get all those ready.
Yep. Again, we do this for you. We do this for you guys because we love you all.
You asked for this.
Yeah, you actually did. That's the sad fucking part. You guys all emailed. There was a bunch of y'all who emailed and were like, hey, you guys need to bring it back.
Keep that in mind. You wanted this.
So as shitty as this gets, just remember, this is what you asked for.
Like Sal in the back of a car, you guys woke up. It's your fault for waking up.
Yeah, this is on you. You're supposed to be asleep the whole time.
While an unrated zombie movie was playing in the background.
And we had to drag an innocent person into this. Because, I was like, you know what the people want? The people want the everyman opinion.
They want a human sacrifice.
Representative of the everyman.
I'm just so honored.
There's nothing but honor.
I'd like to thank the Academy. Great to be here. Like
So again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in, checking it out, downloading us, sending us your emails, all the love that you guys sent while we were gone. So that's really cool. Thank you guys very much for that. We're going to keep doing this, and we're going to, honestly, whether you listen or not, it really doesn't matter. This is part of my court-mandated therapy. So we're going to do this regardless. So whether you listen or not, we're doing this here. So you come check us out, and we will be here another 2 weeks, right?
yeah.
So I'm gonna again open up the curtain and let you guys know. Before, we would strike in the night. We would strike and then disappear back into the darkness, mostly because we were lazy and weren't sure when we can get everybody together to do this. Now, however, we are going to open this up and be transparent and tell you every 2 weeks we are going to do a new show.
Yeah. It went from, do you want to do a thing, to, we have to do a thing.
So we're gonna do it 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks we'll do a show. Again, between an hour and a half, 2 hours. We'll do our movies. We have some other stuff in the pipe that we are planning on and kind of we're gonna change up a little bit. So let us know what you like. Let us know what you don't. You guys have our emails. You have our socials. You do what you got to do. All right. So I am going to say goodbye. For me, I am Sal. I am here with
Chuck, producer of the year. It's good to be back.
And
Lola Saint.
we will now release her back into the wild. Let her go scamper amongst her.
I have to tag her so we can track her down again.
So we can track her during the off
To
season.
wrangle her for another episode.
If we get a hold of lunch meat.
Just more hurt. More hurt on people.
See more Beth, I think.
That's what we give. We give our pain to others.
So again, good night, everybody, and we'll see you soon.
All right, guys. See you later.